Chapter 650. Those who block me shall die. Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood, looked at Yu Qinyuan, Yu Hong and the others who were blocking him. He roared and charged forward without slowing down. At Yen, Black Demon Lord. After witnessing Yi Chunfeng's terrifying attack head-on against Mo Fengyun, Yu Qinyuan and the other two knew that they were no longer his opponent. They quickly burned 2 devil talismans and summoned 2 level 3 beast emperors, Black Demon Lords, to stop Yi Chunfeng. At the same time, the level 8 heavenly beast, Crimson Blood Heavenly Bat, descended from the sky and cooperated with the 2 Black Demon Lords to launch a fatal attack on Yi Chunfeng. Golden Dragon Blood Lion, Chaos Divine Beast. At the crucial moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 2 heavenly beasts and ordered them to attack with all their might to break through the encirclement and leave this dangerous place. Yes, level 8 heavenly beasts. Yi Chunfeng's 2 contracted beasts have both leveled up. Feeling the explosive power of the Golden Dragon Blood Lion and the Chaos Divine Beast, Yu Qinyuan and the others were shocked. They were shocked that not only did Yi Chunfeng obtain a great opportunity in the Dragon Abyss to increase his strength, but his 2 contracted beasts had also obtained a great opportunity and leveled up. Roar! The Golden Dragon Blood Lion roared and unleashed its Golden Lion Bloodline and Dragon Bloodline at the same time. It pounced towards the Crimson Blood Heavenly Bat, dragging a bloody shadow behind it, and started to fight with it in mid-air. Although the Crimson Blood Heavenly Bat also possessed a mutated bloodline, compared to the Golden Dragon Blood Lion who possessed 2 bloodlines, there was still a huge gap. Soon, its attack was suppressed by the Golden Dragon Blood Lion. Its huge body was constantly being torn apart by the lion's sharp claws. The Chaos Divine Beast, Yi Chunfeng and the Sword Puppet worked together to suppress the 2 Black Demon Lords' attack. They were all trying to get close to the weak point of the restrictive formation. Yi Chunfeng, this place is destined to be your grave. Stop your meaningless struggle. At this moment, Mo Fengyun, who was brimming with killing intent, rushed over. He continued to send out sword lights that could shake the heavens and earth, sealing the space. He viciously attacked Yi Chunfeng, determined to kill him. Vermilion Bird Cauldron. Mo Fengyun's attack with the Sky Demon Dao weapon was too terrifying. Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in wounds, did not dare to face it head-on. He immediately summoned the Vermilion Bird Cauldron and spat a mouthful of essence blood into it, awakening the soul of the Vermilion Bird and increasing the attack power of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron. Boom boom boom. Under the full force of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, the black saber projections unleashed by Mo Fengyun were all kept at bay. Scarlet Lightning Bead, Death Lightning. Just as Mo Fengyun took a deep breath and continued to attack, ignoring the depletion of his soul power, the lid of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron suddenly opened and the Scarlet Lightning Bead hidden in the cauldron shot toward him at an indiscernible speed. Rumble! The destructive power was extremely strong. The Death Thunder, which contained the will of death, poured out from the Scarlet Thunder Bead. It was like a huge devouring mouth, swallowing Mo Fengyun and madly destroying his body. Yi Chunfeng seized the moment when Mo Fengyun was engulfed by the Death Lightning and decisively turned around, launching a fierce attack at the approaching Black Demon Venerable. Merciless Heavenly Dao. 8 runes of Heavenly Dao shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body and turned into rolling Heavenly Dao energy, bombarding the Black Demon Venerable at close range. The terrifying Heavenly Dao energy forcefully shattered the fist projection of the Black Demon Venerable and bombarded his body, forcibly causing cracks to appear on his huge body. 7 Swords of Judgment, Annihilation. Following that, Yi Chunfeng slashed out the Annihilation Sword Ray, destroying the space and slashing the Black Demon Venerable's body that was full of cracks, almost splitting his powerful body into 2 halves. Black Demon Venerable, self-destruct. When the Black Demon Lord was heavily injured by Yi Chunfeng's terrifying attack, Yu Hong made a prompt decision to detonate the Black Demon Lord. A wave of destructive power that could shock the heavens and earth erupted like a surging tide, sweeping towards Yi Chunfeng. Sword puppet. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng ordered the sword puppet, which had little energy left, to block in front of him, forcibly blocking the self-destruct attack launched by the Black Demon Venerable. However, at this moment, another Black Demon Venerable, who was fighting fiercely with the Divine Beast of Chaos, approached Yi Chunfeng. It also self-destructed and launched another fatal attack on Yi Chunfeng. Black Tortoise Shell. Yi Chunfeng, who was in the center of the storm, immediately took out the black tortoise shell that was comparable to a quasi-Taoist treasure and used it to block in front of him, resisting with all his strength. Crack! The Black Demon Venerable was comparable to a third-level Beast Emperor expert. The attack generated by its self-destruction was so terrifying that it forcibly cracked the black tortoise shell. A large amount of destructive power passed through the cracks of the shell and attacked Yi Chunfeng's body, aggravating his injuries. Die! Yi Chunfeng blocked the self-destruct attack of the two Black Demon Venerables with the sword puppet and the black tortoise shell's defense. Mo Fengyun tore apart the Death Thunder and slashed at Yi Chunfeng more than 10 times. The attacks gathered into layers of saber mountains and crashed toward Yi Chunfeng with astonishing destructive power. Boom! The black tortoise shell was shattered without any suspense when it was hit by Mo Fengyun's saber mountains. The terrifying remaining power ruthlessly slashed onto Yi Chunfeng's body and sent him flying. The godly devil body that was comparable to a quasi-Taoist treasure was covered with crisscrossing saber wounds and a large amount of blood spurted out. Wrath of Divine Punishment. Yi Chunfeng controlled the primal chaos divine wood to suppress the injuries on his body. The 3 heaven spirits flew out of his body and turned into a tricolored destructive light ball, bombarding Yu Chunyuan and company who were obstructing him. The heavenly fire and heavenly water had leveled up one after another. The power of the wrath of divine punishment was even more terrifying. When it bombarded the Tao skills that Yu Chunyuan and company had executed, the destructive power that was released shattered their attacks and forced them to retreat. Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos Divine Beast, don't continue fighting. Use all your strength to break through. Yi Chunfeng kept the exhausted sword puppet and the 2 Tao treasures back into his body. He seized the opportunity when Yu Chunyuan and company were forced to retreat and continued to break through. He appeared at the weak point of the restriction that the God Devourer brain had deduced and stabbed at it with the Emperor Sky Sword. At the same time, the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion and Chaos Divine Beast also launched their strongest attacks and bombarded the weak point of the restriction, trying to break it. Crack! After receiving the all-out attacks from the Emperor Sky Sword and the 2 heavenly beasts, the weak point of the restriction was like shattered glass. A large number of cracks appeared, which made Mo Fengyun and company change their expressions. If they couldn't kill Yi Chunfeng even after setting up the heaven and earth net, it would be almost impossible for them to kill Yi Chunfeng in the future. Furthermore, they would definitely become the laughingstock of the Western continent. Sword of Dark Tao. Mo Fengyun flashed and got close to Yi Chunfeng. His entire body fused with the Sky Demonic Tao Soldier and fused with 60 Dark Tao patterns. He slashed at Yi Chunfeng as one with the weapon. Emperor Sky Sword Spirit Combust. When facing Mo Fengyun's sure-kill attack, Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured, had no choice but to combust the Emperor Sky Sword Spirit. He activated the Emperor Sky Sword's attacking power to the greatest extent and faced the attack head-on. With the help of the Emperor Sky Sword Spirit's attacking power, Yi Chunfeng forcefully blocked Mo Fengyun's sure-kill attack. However, his severely injured body was also severely injured by the instantaneous explosion of the recoil. He crashed heavily on the spatial restriction that was filled with cracks. Yi Chunfeng, go to hell and repent to Zhongtian. When Yu Chunyuan saw Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured and covered in blood, crashing onto the restriction wall, he roared. A pearl that was the size of a longan appeared in his hand and shot at Yi Chunfeng. The black pearl that Yu Qinyuan took out was his greatest trump card. It was the destruction demonic pearl that the Yu family had spent a lot of effort to refine. Every demonic pearl took more than 30 years to refine. It was extremely precious and terrifying. Not good. When Yi Chunfeng felt the destructive power released by the destruction demonic pearl, he decisively summoned the 2 heavenly beasts back into the universe realm. He then summoned the sword puppet and hugged it in front of him. Destruction demonic pearl explode. When the destruction demonic pearl hit the sword puppet, it exploded. The terrifying destructive power collapsed the void and landed heavily on the sword puppet's body. Yi Chunfeng felt an unimaginable power pass through the sword puppet and hit his body. It made him feel like he was hit by a mountain. He crashed heavily on the restriction that was filled with cracks behind him. Bang! The sturdy restriction was smashed through by Yi Chunfeng's uncontrollable body. Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured and had his body broken, spat out a large amount of blood. He crashed through the broken spatial barrier and landed outside the Longyuan sacred city. He was only half dead. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 651. Yes, he's not dead. Yu Qinyuan was well aware of the destructive power of the Orb of Annihilation. Even a level 4 Beast Emperor would not be able to survive a direct attack from the Orb of Annihilation. However, Yi Chunfeng, who was heavily injured, was still alive. This made Yu Qinyuan and Yu Hong extremely shocked. Swish! Just as Yu Qinyuan and Yu Hong were shocked by Yi Chunfeng's tenacious vitality, an ear-piercing sound broke through the air. Mo Fengyun drew an afterimage in mid-air and appeared above Yi Chunfeng's head at an extremely fast speed. He waved the Sky Demon Dao Soldier and launched a fatal attack at Yi Chunfeng. Every time Mo Fengyun slashed out a blade light, it would tear the void apart and leave a ghastly scar. The blade light was filled with destructive power and posed a fatal threat to Yi Chunfeng. Sword Spirit of the Emperor Sky, burn. Facing the destructive blade light, Yi Chunfeng, who was at the tip of the blade light, spat out a large amount of blood essence at all costs. He infused it into the Emperor Sky Sword and burned the Sword Spirit of the Emperor Sky Sword, maximizing the attacking power of the Emperor Sky Sword. 7 Swords of Judgment, Destruction. Holding the Emperor Sky Sword with the Sword Spirit burning, Yi Chunfeng did not care about his injuries. He burned his blood essence and slashed out the Sword of Destruction. It collapsed the space and blasted towards the blade light that Mo Fengyun slashed out continuously. Boom! 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 When the 2 terrifying attacks clashed, an earth-shattering explosion could be heard in the void. An extremely terrifying energy storm instantly spread out in a radius of a few miles. The entire space was in chaos and filled with cracks. Wind riding technique. Yi Chunfeng burned the Deity Sword Spirit and all the blood in his body to block Mo Fengyun's sure-kill attack. Yi Chunfeng endured the destructive power and burned his golden rock bloodline, flying out of Longyuan Sacred City at an extremely fast speed. Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion, bring me away! When Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood and barely alive, rushed out of the destructive storm, he immediately summoned the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion and escaped with all his might. Yes, you are still alive. Through the destructive storm, Mo Fengyun saw Yi Chunfeng, whose life was hanging by a thread, riding the golden clear dragon Bloodlion and fleeing. He could not help but feel somewhat shocked. He was shocked that Yi Chunfeng was still alive under such circumstances. Scarlet Blood Heavenly Bat, come here. After the intense battle, Mo Fengyun had also consumed a lot of energy. He quickly summoned the Scarlet Blood Heavenly Bat and commanded it to chase after Yi Chunfeng. Black Flood Dragon. Yi Qinyuan and Yu Hong were also clear about the consequences of letting Yi Qinfeng escape. They had no choice but to use the Black Serpent Dragon to chase after him. They had to nip the threat in the bud. Master, are you all right? Jin Qing Dragon Bloodlion sensed that Yi Qinfeng's injuries were very serious. His qi and blood were severely depleted, and his breathing was weak. Don't worry, I won't die yet. Yi Qinfeng lay weakly on the thick fur of the golden-clear dragon blood lion. He swallowed a lump of life spirit into his stomach and rapidly healed his injuries. However, Yi Qinfeng's injuries were too serious. Even if he swallowed a life spirit that could bring the dead back to life, he couldn't heal his injuries in a short time. Although the golden-clear dragon blood lion was powerful, its flying speed wasn't its forte. Gradually, the scarlet blood heavenly bat and the two black serpents closed the distance between them. If they continued to escape, it would only be a matter of time before they caught up. Yi Qinfeng, I didn't expect your life to be so tough. I still couldn't kill you under such circumstances. However, in the Western continent, I am the heavens. In my territory, you won't be able to survive even if you are in the heavens or the earth. Mo Fengyun stood on the scarlet blood heavenly bat and looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was escaping at top speed. He spoke in a cruel and domineering manner, striking a blow to Yi Qinfeng's heart. Mo Fengyun, I didn't expect that someone as arrogant as you would actually use words to attack me. Seems like you are afraid. Are you afraid that I will come after you in the future after I escape this calamity? Although Yi Qinfeng was facing a tough test of life and death, he didn't panic at all. Instead, he became calmer and calmer as he countered. Haha, I'm afraid. Mo Fengyun laughed and said with a murderous glint in his eyes, I, Mo Fengyun, have been through all kinds of storms in my life. You are not worthy of making me afraid. Mo Fengyun, when you say that, you'd better check your heart and see if you're lying to yourself. Yi Qinfeng snorted and ignored him. He quickly refined the life spirit and healed his injuries. Scarlet blood heavenly bat, burn your blood qi and increase your speed. Yi Qinfeng's words were like a thorn that pierced into Mo Fengyun's heart. It made him furious, but he had to admit that he did feel threatened by Yi Qinfeng. A huge threat. If he couldn't kill Yi Qinfeng this time, once he grew stronger, what awaited him and the West Devil sect would be destruction. Chaos Divine Beast, attack with all your might. The scarlet blood heavenly bat burned its blood qi and increased its speed. As the distance between them continued to shrink, Yi Qinfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Beast from the Universe Mirror and ordered it to attack the scarlet blood heavenly bat and Mo Fengyun, not giving them a chance to get closer. Chaos Roar. A powerful sound wave was released from the Chaos Divine Beast's bloody mouth. It was like a surging wave that slammed into the space and bombarded the scarlet blood heavenly bat and the two black Jiao dragons. Under the full attack of the Chaos Divine Beast, the scarlet blood heavenly bat and the black Jiao dragon's speed was greatly affected. The distance between them was slowly widening. However, Yi Qinfeng knew that the advantage was only temporary. Once the Chaos Divine Beast was exhausted and couldn't continuously release the Chaos Roar, they would be caught up sooner or later. How can I get rid of them? Yi Qinfeng quickly healed his wounds while thinking of a solution. As he pondered, Yi Qinfeng thought of the West Continent's most dangerous place, the Heaven Blue region. Maybe I can escape to the Heaven Blue region and use the dangerous terrain to get rid of Mo Fengyun and the others. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself. He took out a detailed map of the West Continent that he had obtained from killing Mo Fengyun. He realized that the most dangerous place in the West Continent, the Heaven Blue region, was not far from his current location. Let's go to the Heaven Blue region then. Although the Heaven Blue region was extremely dangerous and was known as the West Continent's Forbidden Zone, Yi Qinfeng couldn't get rid of Mo Fengyun and the others. He could only take the risk. After all, Yi Qinfeng had the God-Eater Brain and the Chaos Divine Wood. If he entered the Heaven Blue region, he would have a chance of survival. Moreover, Yi Chunfeng had obtained a map of the Heaven Blue region from Mo Fengyun when he killed him. Dragon Bloodlion, go to this place. Yi Chunfeng imprinted the map of the Heaven Blue region into the Dragon Bloodlion's mind and ordered it to fly to the Heaven Blue region as fast as possible. This direction. Could he be thinking of escaping to the Heaven Blue region? As the most powerful person in the West Continent, Mo Fengyun knew the West Continent very well. After chasing for more than 4 hours with the Scarlet Bloodbat, he noticed something and frowned. Yi Chunfeng, I am impressed by your courage. However, do you think I will give you the chance to escape to the Heaven Blue region? Other than wanting to kill Yi Chunfeng to prevent future troubles, Mo Fengyun also wanted to obtain the treasures on him. He had a feeling that Yi Chunfeng was the greatest opportunity in his life, and he couldn't let it go. Scarlet Bloodbat, burn all your essence blood and increase your speed. Mo Fengyun ordered the Scarlet Bloodbat. Although burning all its essence blood would cause great damage to its body and affect its transformation in the future, the Scarlet Bloodbat couldn't disobey Mo Fengyun's order. It burned all its essence blood and increased its speed to the peak. Break. Standing on the Crimson Blood Heavenly Bat, Mo Fengyun faced the incoming tornadoes with the Sky Demon Dao weapon in his hand. He continuously cut through the roars of the Chaos Divine Beasts and slowly closed the distance between him and Yi Chunfeng. When they were close to the Heaven Blue region, Yi Chunfeng was caught by Mo Fengyun, who had yet to recover from his injuries. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 652. Yi Chunfeng, let's see where you can escape to. Mo Fengyun roared as his entire body flew up and tore through the sky. With a speed that was several times faster than light, he leaped above Yi Chunfeng's head. 10-directional Sky Demon Slash. Mo Fengyun slashed down heavily with the Sky Demon Dao weapon. The terrifying cross-shaped sword slash tore through the layers of air. The fatal attack made Yi Chunfeng's hair stand on end. Vermilion Bird Cauldron. Yi Chunfeng's pupils contracted as he quickly summoned the Vermilion Bird Cauldron. He spat a few mouthfuls of blood essence into the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, awakening the Vermilion Bird soul. He raised the Vermilion Bird Cauldron's attacking power to the greatest extent and smashed it with all his might. Boom! When the 10-directional Sky Demon Slash hit the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, it exploded with a shocking demonic aura. It destroyed the Vermilion Bird Fire and shook the Vermilion Bird Cauldron. Boundless destructive power fluctuated on the surface of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron. Emperor Celestial Sword Technique. Emperor Celestial Sword. The moment the Vermilion Bird Cauldron blocked the 10-directional Sky Demon Slash, Yi Chunfeng ignored his injuries and leaped up from the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion. He infused the Emperor Celestial Sword with his Emperor Celestial Sword and slashed at Mo Fengyun, trying to push him back. Facing the attack of the Emperor Celestial Sword, Mo Fengyun didn't use his full strength to face it. His body flashed as he created a strange afterimage and dodged the attack. He continued to slash out black sword lights, sealing the space in front of Yi Chunfeng and the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion. He blocked them and didn't give them a chance to escape into the Azure Heaven region. Dragon Bloodlion, Hundun, let's rush over. Seeing Mo Fengyun blocking the way, Yi Chunfeng didn't reduce his speed. He controlled the Vermilion Bird Cauldron to smash through the sword lights and rode on the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion, rushing over without slowing down. Divine Demon Bloodline Ignition, Divine Demon Body. Yi Chunfeng's body erupted with a powerful vital energy. In order to break out of the encirclement, Yi Chunfeng disregarded his injuries and instantly transformed into his strongest godly demon body. He condensed 7 killing halos and slashed out with the Emperor's Celestial Sword. 7 swords of judgment, annihilation. The will of the great Tao and the power of close to 40 million kilograms of force surged into the Empyrean celestial sword, activating the 3,680 offensive array patterns on the Empyrean celestial sword. They interweaved to form a destructive sword light that could shatter space and tear apart the firmament, slashing towards Mo Fengyun. Roar of Chaos. The power of the Dragon Lion. The divine beasts of chaos and Jinqing Dragon Blood Lion also unleashed their strongest attacks at the same time. They blended together and attacked Mo Fengyun like a tidal wave, trying to force him to retreat. Facing Yi Chunfeng and the two heavenly beasts' thunderous attack, Mo Fengyun, who was at the peak of the storm, did not dodge. He quickly ignited the power of his demon heart and infused it into the heavenly fiend Tao weapon to meet the attack with all his might. The heavenly fiend Tao weapon slashed ferociously. The Tao of darkness and Tao of death gushed out and turned into a black demon saber that was more than 30 meters long. It carried a shocking destructive power and slashed through Yi Chunfeng. The two heavenly beasts' strongest attacks did not diminish in power and continued to slash towards Yi Chunfeng. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the sword puppet that had completely depleted its energy. He infused close to 40 million kilograms of force into the puppet and threw it out with all his might, colliding with the black demon saber. Boom! A deafening explosion sounded. The indestructible sword puppet shattered the black demon saber and blocked Mo Fengyun's sure-kill attack. In the next moment, the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl flew out of Yi Chunfeng's body and collided with Mo Fengyun one after another. Thunder of Death. When the scarlet thunder pearl approached Mo Fengyun, it released endless thunder of death that formed a huge net and enveloped Mo Fengyun. When Mo Fengyun held the heavenly fiend Tao weapon and slashed through the thunder of death, the vermilion bird cauldron that was resonating with the cry of a vermilion bird slammed into the heavenly fiend Tao weapon. The powerful impact forcefully interrupted Mo Fengyun's continuous attack. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, Yi Chunfeng decisively kept the sword puppet and the two heavenly beasts into the Qiankuan realm. Then, he ignited the golden rock bloodline and raised his speed to the peak. He broke through Mo Fengyun's obstruction and rushed towards the mysterious vast heaven domain that was shrouded in a thick black fog. Where do you think you're going? Yi Chunfeng broke through the defensive line. Mo Fengyun quickly turned around and was about to chase after Yi Chunfeng with the heavenly fiend Tao weapon in his hand. However, when he turned around, the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl continued to attack him under the control of Yi Chunfeng, forcibly slowing him down. When Mo Fengyun relied on his absolute strength to tear apart the double attack of the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl, Yi Chunfeng, who had ignited the golden rock bloodline, appeared at the edge of the vast heaven domain with amazing speed. Vermilion bird cauldron, scarlet thunder pearl, come back! Appearing outside the vast heaven domain, Yi Chunfeng summoned the two great Tao treasures back with a single thought. Then, before Mo Fengyun could stop him, he rushed into the vast heaven domain shrouded in black fog. Seeing Yi Chunfeng break through the encirclement and rush into the vast heaven domain, Mo Fengyun, who appeared at the edge of the vast heaven domain, looked extremely gloomy. Although he had the map of the vast heaven domain, he knew very well how terrifying the vast heaven domain was. The slightest discomfort could cause one to be trapped and killed inside. Just as Mo Fengyun was hesitating whether to take the risk of rushing into the vast heaven domain and killing Yi Chunfeng, the two elders of the Yu family arrived on the Black Flood Dragon. Sect Master Mo, what is this place? Seeing the vast heaven domain shrouded in black fog, Yu Qinyuan and Yu Hong sensed a strong sense of danger. They looked at the gloomy Mo Fengyun and asked, "This is the most dangerous place in the western continent, the vast heaven domain," Mo Fengyun said in a low voice. The vast heaven domain. The vast heaven domain that is known as the forbidden zone of life. Yu Qinyuan and Yu Hong raised their eyebrows and revealed a trace of solemnity. Obviously, they had heard of the vast heaven domain and knew how dangerous it was. Not to mention them, even high-level combat beast emperors would find it difficult to leave alive after entering. Sect Master Emo, based on your understanding of the vast heaven domain, do you think Yi Chunfeng has a chance of surviving inside? Although Yu Qinyuan coveted Yi Chunfeng's treasures, he cared more about Yi Chunfeng's life and death, so he asked. Normally speaking, with Yi Chunfeng's strength as a Class 5 Defiant Beast King, there's no chance of survival after entering the vast heaven domain. However, Yi Chunfeng's life is too tough. The vast heaven domain might not be able to take his life. Thinking of Yi Chunfeng, who created life traces, Mo Fengyun had a feeling that the vast heaven domain might not be able to trap Yi Chunfeng to death. That Yi Chunfeng is too monstrous. If he doesn't die, he will definitely become a huge threat to us, Yu Qinyuan said with a solemn expression. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that not only did he not obtain any great opportunities in the Western continent, but he also lost Yu Zhongtian, and the Yu family had provoked an extremely terrifying hidden danger. This Yi Chunfeng must be eliminated. Thinking of Yi Chunfeng's threat and his rapid growth, Mo Fengyun steeled his heart and decided to take the risk and enter the vast heaven domain to hunt down Yi Chunfeng. Scarlet Blood Heavenly Bat, hold on to this telepathic rope and wait for me outside the vast heaven domain. Mo Fengyun took out the telepathic rope that was refined from more than 100 heavenly beast tendons. He gave one end to the Scarlet Blood Heavenly Bat and tied the other end to his waist. With a flash, he rushed into the black fog that devoured light. Relying on the map of the vast heaven domain that he grasped, he risked his life to hunt down Yi Chunfeng. Mobile reading website, book address. For your convenience, you can click on the save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 653. What kind of fog is this? Breaking into the periphery of the vast heaven domain, Yi Chunfeng felt that the black fog floating in the air was uncontrollably drilling into his body, eroding his body and devouring his blood and qi. The soul he released was also blocked by the thick and sticky black fog. It could only extend for about 30 meters, and he could not tell the direction. God-Eater Brain. Blocked by the black fog, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the power of the God-Eater Brain to radiate out. Sure enough, the power of the God-Eater Brain is not affected by the black fog. It can extend for hundreds of meters. Although the black fog in the periphery of the vast heaven domain was very strange, the existence of the God-Eater Brain was even more heaven-defying. The radiated soul power penetrated the thick black fog and sensed the danger in the periphery of the vast heaven domain. The vacuum area. Yi Chunfeng rapidly traveled for more than an hour. The radiated soul power of the God-Eater Brain detected a relatively safe vacuum area in the black fog and quickly flew over. However, when Yi Chunfeng rapidly approached the vacuum area, he suddenly felt a mysterious power in the violently rolling black fog, chopping at him like an axe. Caught off guard, Yi Chunfeng's body was hit by this mysterious power. A half-meter long wound appeared on his body, which was comparable to a supreme heaven weapon, and a large amount of blood flowed out uncontrollably. What kind of power is this? Looking at the half-meter long wound on his chest and feeling the tearing pain coming from it, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed drastically. He did not expect that there would be such a terrifying power hidden in the black fog that could actually tear his body apart so easily. Fiend God Body. Sensing the danger, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to burn his Fiend God bloodline and transform into the strongest Fiend God body. He forcibly raised the defense of his body to the level of a quasi-Dao treasure and continued to fly toward the vacuum area hidden in the black fog. As he rapidly approached the vacuum area, Yi Chunfeng was attacked by several axe-like mysterious power. However, after transforming into the Fiend God body, Yi Chunfeng's body was extremely powerful, and completely resisted the mysterious power. He tore through the thick black fog, broke a hard space wall, and entered the relatively safe vacuum area. A soul crystal, such a big soul crystal. Forcefully breaking into the vacuum region, Yi Chunfeng discovered that there was a 2-meter-tall, milky white superior soul crystal in the middle of the vacuum region. It contained a powerful soul power. However, this vacuum wasn't as safe as he thought it would be. The power here was extremely chaotic, and it affected his soul power and spirit, making him feel as if his blood vessels were about to burst. Chaos divine would suppress. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and began to circulate the soul-devouring incantation at high speed. He forcibly dispelled the interference of the chaotic space around him as he glanced sharply at the soul crystal. However, he didn't approach it. Instead, he produced several precious celestial soul pills and swallowed them. Then, he sat down cross-legged on the ground and began to rapidly heal his injuries. Buzz, buzz, buzz. While Yi Chunfeng was healing his wounds, a powerful soul power suddenly gushed out from the soul crystal. It transformed into a trident and shot towards Yi Chunfeng. Finally, you can't help but make a move. Yi Chunfeng's soul was extremely powerful. When he broke through this vacuum, he could sense that there was a person hiding in the soul crystal above him. He didn't wait for the extremely fast trident to get close to him before he dodged the attack. You actually discovered me. After the attack failed, the 2-meter-tall superior soul crystal slowly rotated. A voluptuous woman with an icy expression appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng's eyes. Due to the passage of time, the woman's clothes were severely damaged, revealing her slender legs and large patches of snow-white skin. Her alluring twin peaks were half hidden, and she was extremely alluring. Rank 1 Combat Beast Emperor. Yi Chunfeng's sharp eyes looked at the woman in the soul crystal. He could sense her true strength from the aura she was emitting. However, Yi Chunfeng didn't mind. If she continued to act recklessly, Yi Chunfeng wouldn't mind destroying her. Junior, with your rank 5 Defiant Beast King cultivation, it seems like you have something to rely on. The woman looked coldly at Yi Chunfeng and said maliciously, "What? You want to snatch it?" The corner of Yi Chunfeng's mouth rose slightly, revealing a dangerous arc as he said coldly, "Ha ha ha, Junior, it seems like you are very confident in your own strength. Then, let me see what you are relying on." The woman sneered. Her voluptuous body fused with the superior soul crystal, turning into a trident again. It tore through the chaotic energy and stabbed towards Yi Chunfeng. Great Sun Skyfire Fist. Yi Chunfeng instantly fused with the 2-headed Blood Dragon King and blasted out an earth-shattering punch. The terrifying power and soul power fused together and transformed into a blazing sun-like punch, shattering the trident light halberd with a single punch. Seeing the trident being shattered by Yi Chunfeng's punch, the woman raised her eyebrows and revealed a look of surprise. She was shocked by Yi Chunfeng's combat strength. Ruthless Heavenly Tao. After breaking the trident, Yi Chunfeng continued to attack. 7 Heavenly Tao runes gushed out of his body and evolved into Heavenly Tao energy. It was like a roaring wave that blasted over. Not good. Seeing the Heavenly Tao energy rolling over the void and feeling the Heavenly Tao's might that made her heart palpitate, the woman's expression changed drastically. She decisively turned around and used the superior soul crystal to defend herself. Boom! When the Heavenly Tao mercilessly slammed into the tough upper soul crystal, the terrifying power immediately shattered the soul crystal. The terrifying Heavenly Tao power passed through the upper soul crystal and ruthlessly slammed into the woman's body, severely injuring her body and sending her flying out of the soul crystal. A large amount of blood spurted out of her mouth. "You? How can you have such combat strength?" Her body was severely injured, and her face was pale and covered in blood. She revealed a look of disbelief. 7 Swords of Judgment, Waning Moon. Yi Chunfeng didn't bother to talk nonsense with her. 60 sword Dao runes gushed out of his body and turned into a strange demonic moon that hung in midair. 6th Heaven of Sword Dao Intent. After witnessing the 60 sword Dao runes that Yi Chenfeng condensed, the woman was truly frightened. She yelled out, "Stop! Quickly stop!" Hearing the woman's exclamation, Yi Chenfeng wasn't moved. He forcefully slashed down the waning moon sword light, which tore through the air and shattered the superior soul crystal that was filled with cracks. It shattered the woman's defense and sent her flying. "Stop! If you don't stop, don't blame me for being impolite." The severely injured woman quickly crawled up and glared furiously at Yi Chenfeng, who was still attacking her, as she yelled out a warning. "Die!" Yi Chenfeng was never merciful to his enemies. The monarch weapon appeared in his hand and pierced over like a hot knife through butter. He wanted to kill the woman. "You forced me to do this." With her life hanging by a thread, the woman let out a high-pitched scream. She held onto a half-meter-tall stone tablet and clashed with the monarch weapon that was fused with 60 sword Dao runes and had the strength of 5 million kilograms. Bang! The stone tablet in the woman's hand was shattered by the monarch weapon. The woman's bleeding body suddenly exploded, turning into a large amount of blood mist and Dao intent, which blended into the chaotic space with the stone tablet fragments. In the next moment, the scene in front of Yi Chenfeng changed. The severely injured woman was nowhere to be seen. Yi Chenfeng realized that he had appeared in a pool of wine and a forest of meat. There were plenty of women who were wearing gauze short skirts and had wonderful figures. They were faintly discernible, and they were constantly letting out coquettish gasps. They were slowly wriggling their delicate bodies and walking towards him. Among these enchanting and charming women, Yi Chenfeng saw two familiar figures. The woman's life hanging by a thread had used the illusion Dao runes to launch an illusion attack and invaded Yi Chenfeng's mind. She had stolen a portion of his memories and allowed Yu Bingyu and Shadow to appear in the illusion. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 654. Chenfeng, what are you still standing there for? Come over here. Yu Bingyu, who was wearing a white chiffon skirt, had red skin and a pair of seductive peaks that were faintly discernible. Her legs were perfectly round and straight. She exuded a wild beauty as she walked in front of Yi Chenfeng with an enchanting fragrance. She stuck close to his body like a beautiful snake, full of temptation. Shadow was even more daring. As she walked, the tulle that covered her tall and slender figure gently slid down her smooth body, exposing her flawless body before Yi Chenfeng's eyes. Chenfeng, what are you waiting for? Let us sisters help you take off your clothes. As she spoke, Shadow stretched out her fair and tender little hand and grabbed Yi Chenfeng's clothes, wanting to take off his clothes. Looking at Yu Bingyu and Shadow's alluring figure, feeling the temptation of skin against skin, Yi Chenfeng, whose eyes flickered with the illusion Dao insight, had a clear mind and wasn't affected in the slightest. And at this moment, one after another flirtatious women who had taken off their tulle surrounded Yi Chenfeng while panting delicately, constantly teasing his nerve. Just as Yi Chenfeng was immersed in a gentle and tender state that was enough to make men go crazy, a sharp light suddenly appeared and attacked Yi Chenfeng's head with a speed that was difficult to be seen by the naked eye. This attack was extremely sudden, and ordinary people wouldn't be able to dodge in time when they were immersed in the illusion of soft and fragrant jade. However, Yi Chenfeng had comprehended the illusion Dao insight to the 4th level, and the illusion that invaded his soul posed no threat to him. Yi Chenfeng swiftly pointed out with his finger. With a force of 5 million kilograms, 60 sword Dao patterns shot out from his finger and shattered this sudden attack with a single finger. Then, Yi Chenfeng blasted out a punch in the northwest direction. The will of the great Dao merged together like flowing water, turning into an earth-shattering fist ray. This punch distorted the illusory space. PFFF. A painful roar rang out. The woman hidden in the illusory space was punched by Yi Chunfeng and revealed her true form. A large amount of blood spurted out from her mouth. In the next moment, the fourth level of the illusory Tao insight completely erupted and fused into the illusory space, causing a large amount of ripples to surge out as the folds of numerous scenes that caused one's blood to boil vanished. Fourth level of the Tao insight of illusion. You! With your strength as a fifth-level defiant beast king, how could you comprehend Tao so deeply? Could it be that you're from one of the three divine kingdoms? After the illusory space was broken, the pale-faced woman revealed a look of terror. She looked at Yi Chunfeng in a completely different light. Blood was flowing out from the corner of her mouth. He couldn't imagine that Yi Chunfeng, who was merely a fifth-level defiant beast king, had not only comprehended his sword Tao intent to the sixth level, but also his illusion Tao intent to the fourth level. This kind of shocking talent and comprehension made the woman wonder if Yi Chunfeng came from the three divine kingdoms of the central continent. You're about to die. There's no need for you to know who I am, Yi Chunfeng said in a domineering tone. The invincible aura and sharp killing intent released from his body made the woman feel suffocated. Wait, it was all my fault earlier. If you're willing to let me go, I'm willing to agree to any of your requests and tell you a big secret about the vast heaven region. Feeling the killing intent released from Yi Chunfeng's body, the woman was truly frightened. She revealed a trace of tenderness and pitifully begged for mercy. The secret of the vast heaven region. Although the woman's clothes were severely torn and her exposed body was very alluring, Yi Chunfeng wasn't interested in her. However, he revealed a trace of interest in the vast heaven region that she mentioned. Tell me, what's the secret of the vast heaven region? Yi Chunfeng withdrew his killing intent and asked coldly. As long as you promise to let me go, I'll tell you the secret of the vast heaven region. The woman tightly bit her moist lips. Her eyes flashed with seduction as she said in a soft voice. You don't have the right to bargain with me. Tell me the secret of the azure heaven region first. If what you say is true, I will spare your life. But if you dare to lie to me, then don't blame me for being merciless. Yi Chunfeng ignored the seductive look in the woman's eyes and warned her coldly. Okay, then I'll tell you the secret of the vast heaven region. I hope you won't lie to me. Seeing the determination in Yi Chunfeng's eyes, the woman helplessly sighed and said, I've been trapped here for 18 years. After 18 years of observation, I think the vast heaven region is very likely the dojo of a big shot. Dojo? Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and asked in a low voice, What evidence do you have to prove that the vast heaven region is a dojo? Yes. Back then, I took the risk to enter the vast heaven region. In addition to this giant soul crystal, I also obtained a mysterious fragment. Saying so, the woman took out a brown fragment from her yin and yang ring. It was overflowing with soul energy. She slowly walked towards Yi Chunfeng. When she was in front of Yi Chunfeng, the woman's legs suddenly weakened and her voluptuous body fell towards Yi Chunfeng. The moment she fell into Yi Chunfeng's arms, she suddenly crushed the soul fragment in her hand. A powerful soul energy drilled into Yi Chunfeng's mind and directly attacked his soul, wanting to tear it apart. You're courting death. Yi Chunfeng used the God-Eater brain to resist the soul fragment's attack. He erupted with nearly 20 million gene of strength, wanting to tear her apart. It's not certain who will die. A murderous intent flashed in the eyes of the woman who threw herself into Yi Chunfeng's arms. She instantly transformed into her beast soul form. 8 extremely sharp silver needles appeared between her fingers. She pierced them towards Yi Chunfeng's major acupuncture points on his chest. As long as the 8 acupuncture points on Yi Chunfeng's body were pierced by the silver needles, his combat strength would be greatly reduced. What, when the 8 silver needles pierced into the acupuncture points on Yi Qinfeng's body, they felt as if they were piercing into black iron. Not only were they unable to penetrate even an inch, a strong repulsive force passed through the silver needles and into her fingers. I wanted to spare your life, but it seems that I don't need to anymore. Yi Qinfeng relied on his body, which was comparable to a supreme celestial tool, to block the woman's surprise attack. Yi Qinfeng fiercely threw out a punch, which landed on the woman's chest and sent her flying. She crashed heavily into the hard space wall, and her towering peaks caved in. You'll die with me. After her well-planned attack failed, the woman knew that she had lost the upper hand. A cold light flashed in her eyes. She wanted to self-destruct and perish together with Yi Qinfeng, who was rapidly approaching her. The moment the woman self-destructed, 10 heavenly Tao runes flew out of Yi Qinfeng's body and broke into her body. They forcibly sealed the tumbling qi and blood in her body, not giving her a chance to self-destruct. Soul-devouring art. Then, Yi Qinfeng activated the soul-devouring art. A devouring whirlpool appeared in his palm. He pressed it on the woman's head and devoured her spiritual beast. After killing the first-level combat beast Emperor Woman, Yi Qinfeng took away her universe ring. He summoned the sword puppet and ordered it to devour the soul crystals scattered on the ground to replenish some of its energy. God-Eater brain break. With a thought, Yi Qinfeng broke the seal in the universe ring and penetrated it. Except for a map depicting the periphery of Tiansong domain, there was nothing valuable. However, the map left behind by the woman was much more detailed than the one he got from Mo Long Abyss. There were many detailed annotations, and these annotations kept mentioning the word dojo. Dojo. Is Tiansong domain really a dojo left behind by a big shot? Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself. He felt that Tiansong domain, the most dangerous place in the Western continent, was hiding a shocking secret. Mobile reading site, book address. To facilitate your next reading, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 655. After forcefully killing the mysterious woman, Yi Qinfeng withstood the erosion and interference of the chaotic energy. He cleared all distracting thoughts and controlled the life Tao pattern to heal his injuries. Soon, Yi Qinfeng's injuries were quickly healed under the nourishment of the life Tao pattern. The spiritual beast of the woman that the God-Eater brain had devoured was also fully integrated into his body, further increasing his strength. Huff, I have finally recovered from my injuries. Yi Qinfeng let out a breath of turbid air and woke up from the healing process. Yi Qinfeng didn't dare to go any further. He sat down cross-legged in this chaotic space and began to practice the 7th move of the 7 Sword of Judgment. It was too dangerous for him to enter the training grounds of the Empyrean realm. The 7 Swords of Judgment might only be an intermediate Tao technique, but the 6th move, Annihilation, was already comparable to an advanced Tao technique. The 7th move, Judgment, was even more terrifying and far surpassed the 2nd move of the Emperor Heaven Sword art, Emperor Heaven Sword. If Yi Qinfeng could master it, it would definitely be his number 1 trump card. So the 7th move of the 7 Swords of Judgment is an ultimate move that combines the power of the first 6 moves. Yi Qinfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce for more than 2 days and finally deduced the true essence of the judgment. He started to cultivate in depth. However, at this moment there was a crisp spatial crack. The tough spatial walls of the vacuum zone were attacked by a terrifying force and were directly split open. In the next moment, Mo Fengyun, who was wearing a black robe and had the spiritual rhino rope around his waist, appeared in midair with the Sky Demon Tao weapon in his hand. Yi Qinfeng, I can't help but admire you. Your life is truly tough. You actually managed to survive such a desperate situation. Mo Fengyun said coldly as he looked coldly at Yi Qinfeng, who was hiding a great secret, and looked at the traces of creation with a sinister gaze. Mo Fengyun. Seeing Mo Fengyun suddenly appear, Yi Chenfeng frowned. He didn't expect Mo Fengyun to be so daring to chase him all the way to the Empyrean region. Mo Fengyun, it seems like you are really afraid that I will destroy everything you have when I grow stronger. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken the risk to chase me all the way here. Yi Chenfeng looked at Mo Fengyun as though he was facing a formidable enemy and spoke softly. Ha ha ha, you can think of it that way. Mo Fengyun laughed uproariously. Yi Chenfeng, you are my challenge, as well as my chance to transform. I have a feeling that if I kill you and obtain everything you possess, I will definitely be able to reach the peak of the martial path. Mo Fengyun, let me give you a sentence. Wishes are beautiful, but reality is cruel. I'm afraid you won't be able to kill me. Yi Chenfeng didn't back down. His fully released soul had already locked onto the weak point of the vacuum region, waiting for the opportunity to break through with all his might. How do you know if you don't try? Mo Fengyun's killing intent instantly condensed into a formless giant blade, tearing through the air and slashing toward Yi Chenfeng. Facing Mo Fengyun's murderous attack, Yi Chenfeng unleashed the power of the 5 spiritual pearls in his body. He stomped on the hard ground and rushed toward the giant blade of murderous aura, shattering it with a single punch. Chi! The moment Yi Chenfeng shattered the giant blade of murderous aura, Mo Fengyun slashed out with his saber, tearing through the space and slashing toward Yi Chenfeng. Sword puppet! Mo Fengyun's Sky Demon Dao soldier was too powerful. Yi Chenfeng didn't burst out with his own attack. Instead, he quickly summoned the sword puppet and sent it crashing toward the black demonic saber. Boom! The black demonic saber landed heavily on the sword puppet, instantly consuming a large amount of power from the soul crystals in his body. However, the saber didn't manage to shake his body. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, Yi Chenfeng stored the sword puppet in the Qiankuan realm and ignited the golden rock bloodline. Like a beam of golden light, he rushed toward the weak point of the space. 100 Battles Blood Shadow. Seeing that Yi Chenfeng wanted to break through the space wall, Mo Fengyun immediately fused with the power of the demon heart and split into hundreds of blood shadows with different appearances and demonic weapons. They sealed off the entire space, not giving Yi Chenfeng a chance to break through. 7 Swords of Judgment, Annihilation. Looking at the flashing blood shadows, Yi Chenfeng didn't dodge. Instead, he infused his Dao intent into the Emperor's celestial sword and slashed at the void. The space in front of him couldn't withstand the destructive power of the Annihilation sword radiance and started to collapse. The flashing blood shadows were also pierced through by the Annihilation sword radiance and couldn't stop Yi Chenfeng. Just as Yi Chenfeng relied on his absolute attack to tear apart the 100 Battles Blood Shadow, he suddenly felt danger beside him. Mo Fengyun turned into an afterimage and appeared beside Yi Chenfeng eerily. He held the Sky Demon Dao soldier and slashed at Yi Chenfeng's body. Sword puppet! At this critical moment, Yi Chenfeng summoned the sword puppet again. Using its defensive power, he resisted the attack of the Sky Demon Dao soldier. Roar of Chaos! The Chaos spiritual beast seized the opportunity and gathered all its soul power. It let out a roar that could shake the earth and mountains. It struck Mo Fengyun's body at close range and forced him to retreat a few meters. Emperor Sky Sword, break! The moment Mo Fengyun was pushed back by the roar of chaos, Yi Chenfeng held the Emperor Sky Sword and pierced the weak point of the space. He broke the tough space wall with a single strike. Let's go! Yi Chenfeng roared and passed through the broken vacuum region with the sword puppet. They appeared at the periphery of the vast heaven region, which was filled with thick black fog. It was impossible to tell the direction. Where do you think you are going? Mo Fengyun looked at the indestructible sword puppet and gritted his teeth. If not for the sword puppet using its body to block his sure-kill attack, Yi Chenfeng would have been killed by him. Roar of Chaos! Mo Fengyun chased after Mo Fengyun rapidly. The chaos spiritual beast continued to release the roar of chaos to attack and slow him down. The thick and sticky black fog was also tumbling violently under the attack of the roar of chaos. It greatly affected Mo Fengyun's soul spirit senses. However, Mo Fengyun was tied to the Lingxi rope and was not afraid of getting lost in the periphery of the vast heaven region. He constantly brandished the Sky Fiend Dao soldier and slashed through the black fog that was surging towards him. He chased after Yi Chunfeng with all his might. Danger! Yi Chunfeng flew at top speed for half an hour with the help of the God-Eater brain. Suddenly, he sensed danger. Dozens of axe-like mysterious forces appeared and sealed the space. They attacked him at an extremely fast speed. God-Fiend bloodline burn. To prevent any accidents, Yi Chunfeng decisively burned his God-Fiend bloodline and transformed into his strongest God-Fiend body. He used his quasi-Dao treasure body to resist the mysterious forces hidden in the black fog. He wielded the Emperor Sky sword and tried his best to break through the encirclement. Great demon slaying dragon blade. Yi Chunfeng was like a divine sword. As he advanced with irresistible force, Mo Fengyun caught up with him. His entire arm fused with the Sky Fiend Dao soldier and slashed at Yi Chunfeng. The pitch-black demonic blade was like a roaring black dragon that flew towards Yi Chunfeng. Wind riding technique. Sensing danger behind him, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to use the wind riding technique. He turned into a wind shadow and dodged the demonic dragon-like blade light. He continued to escape into the depths of the vast heaven region. Although the deeper he went into the vast heaven region, the more dangerous it was. There were more mysterious forces hidden in the black fog. However, Yi Chunfeng had no choice but to take the risk. Yi Chunfeng wielded the Emperor Sky sword and continued to tear apart the mysterious forces that were getting denser and denser. After traveling for more than 2 hours, he finally passed through the thick black fog and arrived at a desolate, deathly silent space that was filled with repressive forces. This desolate space was the true periphery of the vast heaven region. It was also the true dangerous place. It was a forbidden zone for life. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 656. This power. It seems that vast heaven domain is indeed a dojo. But who could have left such a terrifying dojo in the western continent? Yen Yen. Flying into the outer region of vast heaven domain, the God-Eater brain immediately sensed that the entire vast heaven domain was filled with a powerful force, and this force was evolving according to a special trajectory. Just as Yi Chunfeng was fearful of the terrifying force in vast heaven domain and did not dare to go in blindly, Mo Fengyun broke through the thick black fog and chased after him. In order to kill Yi Chunfeng, Mo Fengyun risked severing the Lingxi rope that had already reached its limit. Exploding demonic saber. Blood-refining demonic saber. Mo Fengyun quickly waved the Sky Demon Dao soldier and continuously slashed out powerful Dao skills, tearing the void and shattering the earth as he suppressed Yi Chunfeng with all his might. Damn it, Mo Fengyun is a madman. With Mo Fengyun's powerful soul, he must have sensed the danger in the outer region of vast heaven domain, but he ignored it and attacked with all his might. It was clear that he was determined to kill him. Fight. Mo Fengyun was much stronger than Yi Chunfeng, and Yi Chunfeng could not withstand his attacks. In desperation, Yi Chunfeng gritted his teeth and took the risk to rush into the outer region of vast heaven domain. According to the detailed map in his mind, he tried his best to escape from Mo Fengyun's pursuit. However, Mo Fengyun also had a map of the outer region of vast heaven domain. He chased closely after Yi Chunfeng, constantly waving the Sky Demon Dao soldier to injure him. Just as Yi Chunfeng could not withstand Mo Fengyun's ferocious attacks and was in danger, The God-Eater brain quickly deduced and found a hidden restriction. Break! Yi Chunfeng threw out a punch without hesitation. The great sun heavenly fire fist, which was like a blazing sun, heavily smashed into the hidden restriction. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng did not wait for the hidden restriction to erupt with earth-shattering power. He decisively ignited the golden rock bloodline, raised his speed to the maximum, and flew thousands of meters away. Oh no! Sensing the terrifying energy beneath his feet, Mo Fengyun's expression changed slightly, and he wanted to escape at full speed. However, in the instant that he dodged, Yi Chunfeng blasted out the merciless heavenly way with one hand and the extreme way of the profound underworld with the other, distorting space and forcibly slowing down the speed at which he dodged. Rumble! At this time, the terrifying energy hidden underground erupted like a volcanic eruption, forming a destructive power that bombarded the entire space. Mo Fengyun, who couldn't dodge in time, was sent flying and suffered heavy injuries. Success. After successfully ambushing Mo Fengyun and severely injuring him, Yi Chunfeng immediately sped up and continued to venture deeper into the outskirts of Empyrean region, escaping Mo Fengyun's pursuit. Brat, where do you think you're going? After being ambushed by Yi Chunfeng, Mo Fengyun was enraged. He quickly controlled his demon heart to suppress the injuries on his body and continued to chase after Yi Chunfeng. The two of them, one chasing and one escaping, fought fiercely in the outskirts of Empyrean region, causing great destruction and triggering terrifying hidden restrictions that bombarded the entire space. Just as the ground of Empyrean region was severely damaged by the two of them, they suddenly felt the surrounding temperature rise instantly, and the ground began to tremble. In the next moment, the two of them saw a huge crack appear in front of them, and a thunderous roar was heard from the crack, piercing through the clouds. Even though Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun were dozens of miles away from the giant crack, they could still feel their eardrums bulging. It was as if they were going to lose their hearing. Their heads hurt so badly that they felt like they were going to explode. They hurriedly sealed their ears with their soul power to prevent their souls from being damaged. The aura of a sacred beast, there's actually a sacred beast here. Hearing the terrifying roar from afar, the chaotic divine beast's voice trembled. Boss, you can't go any further. If you anger that sacred beast, you won't be able to withstand its claw attack no matter how powerful you are. Sacred beast. Hearing the chaotic divine beast's warning, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but gasp. Sacred beasts were usually only found in the heaven domain, and they had long been extinct in the fighting spirit continent. Every sacred beast had the power to destroy the world, and they were extremely terrifying existences in the heaven domain. Why is there a sacred beast here? Could it be that Empyrean region is a dojo left behind by a heaven domain expert? Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but suspect the origin of Empyrean region. When Mo Fengyun heard the terrifying roar from afar, he was deeply shocked and didn't dare to attack recklessly. Roar, roar, roar. After the roar, the mysterious sacred beast that tore open the ground let out another deafening roar, bombarding the entire space. For a moment, the earth outside Empyrean region shook, and the terrifying roar made all beasts submit to it. Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun's souls trembled, and their blood boiled. It was as if the end of the world was coming. Just as Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun were intimidated by the mysterious sacred beast's roar and wanted to give up on fighting and retreat, a fiery red dragon head with coral-like dragon horns stretched out of the crack and appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun. Dragon? A true dragon? When Yi Chunfeng saw the sinister and terrifying gigantic head covered in fiery red scales in the distance, all the hair on his body stood on end, and he held his breath. No, that's not a dragon, but a fire qilin with the bloodline of a sacred beast. The knowledgeable sacred beast of chaos, who had a lot of inherited memories, saw through Yi Chunfeng's body and recognized the giant head hidden in Empyrean region. Fire qilin. There's a sacred beast qilin hidden in Empyrean region. What secrets are hidden in Empyrean region? What is the fire Qilin protecting in Empyrean region? While feeling frightened, Yi Chunfeng kept trying to figure out the secrets of Empyrean region. Just as Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun were deeply intimidated by the fire Qilin's head, and their hearts seemed to have stopped beating, the fire Qilin's bell-like eyes shot out endless light as it looked at Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun. In an instant, Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun felt as if they had been hit by a heavy blow, as if they had been pierced by the fire Qilin's gaze. Their faces turned pale, and their bodies were drenched in sweat. Terrifying, too terrifying. Is this the power of a sacred beast? Just one look is enough to make me feel as if my liver and gallbladder are about to burst, Yi Chunfeng prayed in his heart, unable to breathe properly. As for the arrogant Mo Fengyun, when the fire Qilin revealed its giant head, he quickly lowered his body, afraid that he would lose his life if the fire Qilin saw him. After coldly glancing at Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun, the fire Qilin stretched out its claws, which were even more terrifying than a Dao artifact, and clawed at the ground, crawling out of the ground. After crawling out of the ground, the fire Qilin did not take the initiative to attack Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun. In its eyes, Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun were just two small ants that did not deserve to die under its sharp claws. Boom! The fire Qilin's four pillar-like limbs suddenly exerted force, shattering layers of the ground. With endless flames, it flew into the air, twisting space, and quickly disappeared into the depths of vast heaven domain. Looking in the direction where the fire Qilin left, the deeply intimidated Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun did not move, nor did they take the opportunity to launch a sneak attack. This was because they were afraid that the fierce battle would alert the fire Qilin and attract its attention. If that happened, even if they had 100 lives, they would not be enough for the fire Qilin to kill. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 657. Terrifying, too terrifying. What kind of secret is hidden in vast heaven domain? Yi Chunfeng stood in place, not daring to move. The image of the fire Qilin kept flashing through his mind. He had encountered a saint beast in the outskirts of vast heaven domain. Yi Chunfeng didn't know if there were more terrifying saint beasts in vast heaven domain. However, the fact that vast heaven domain was guarded by sacred beasts showed that there was a great secret hidden here. But Yi Chunfeng knew that with his current strength, it was impossible for him to know the secrets of vast heaven domain. Die! Mo Fengyun was also shocked. He glanced at Yi Chunfeng and a murderous light flashed in his eyes. He suddenly attacked with his blade. Wind riding technique. Yi Chunfeng's soul had already locked onto Mo Fengyun. The moment Mo Fengyun attacked, Yi Chunfeng's body blurred and turned into a blurry wind shadow, dodging Mo Fengyun's attack. Mo Fengyun, follow me if you are not afraid of death. Yi Chunfeng glanced coldly at the murderous Mo Fengyun. He gritted his teeth and continued to fly into the depths of vast heaven domain. He wanted to use the power of the fire Qilin to intimidate Mo Fengyun and find a chance to get rid of him. Since you are not afraid of death, I am not afraid of death either. Mo Fengyun looked at Yi Chunfeng flying into the depths of vast heaven domain. He hesitated for a moment and quickly chased after him. He knew very well that this was the best time to kill Yi Chunfeng. If he missed this opportunity, when Yi Chunfeng grew, what awaited him would likely be death. It could be said that he had no way out. Madman! Mo Fengyun is definitely a madman. Yi Chunfeng felt that Mo Fengyun was getting faster and faster. He was anxious and kept thinking of ways to escape. Black Wheel of Death. After closing the distance between him and Yi Chunfeng, Mo Fengyun immediately merged with his demon heart and condensed 10 black wheels of death. He attacked Yi Chunfeng, forcing him to dodge and slow down his speed. 100 Battles Blood Shadow. Yi Chunfeng shifted and evaded the black wheel of death in an extremely short time. The devil wind cloud immediately split into hundreds of blood shadows holding demonic weapons, sealing off the entire space. The heavenly Tao is heartless. Break. 7 runes of the heavenly ways gushed out from his body as he looked at the flashing blood shadow. They howled out as they struck the 100 battle blood shadow, forcefully tearing a hole in it. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to break out of the encirclement, a slowly blooming black lotus appeared in front of him. Fiend God Bloodline Ignition, Fiend God Body. Looking at the black lotus in front of him, Yi Chunfeng's face changed drastically. Without hesitation, he ignited his Fiend God Bloodline and transformed into a Fiend God Body, raising the defense of his body to the level of a quasi-Dao treasure. Boom! The myriad transformations Black Lotus exploded, releasing a destructive power that formed a terrifying shockwave that instantly engulfed Yi Chunfeng. Countless gravel shattered and the ground cracked. The periphery of the firmament domain fell into chaos. Facing the explosive attack of the myriad transformations Black Lotus head-on, Yi Chunfeng's body, which was comparable to a quasi-Dao treasure, could not withstand it. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth, and his body was covered with bloody wounds. Die! Mo Fengyun roared. His whole body merged with the heavenly demon Dao soldier, turning into an invincible giant blade. It cut open the space and slashed toward Yi Chunfeng, who was engulfed by the destructive storm. Unable to dodge, Yi Chunfeng decisively summoned the sword spirit puppet and used it as a shield behind him, blocking Mo Fengyun's sure-kill attack. Roar of Chaos. At this time, the divine beast of chaos also released a powerful roar, bombarding Mo Fengyun. The impact made his blood and qi churn violently, and his body was knocked back several meters. Damn it, it's this doppelganger again. His all-out attack was once again blocked by the sword puppet. This made Mo Fengyun so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Thunder and lightning flash. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. Suppressing the surging blood and injuries in his body, Yi Chunfeng turned into a zigzag lightning bolt and rushed out. Yi Chunfeng, if I don't kill you, I'm not human. Mo Fengyun roared and chased after him desperately. It seemed that he was going to perish together with him in the vast heaven domain. Roar, roar, roar. Just as the two of them entered the depths of vast heaven domain, a series of earth-shaking roars rang out from the depths of vast heaven domain. Clatter. Hearing this terrifying roar, Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun's expressions changed greatly. Apparently, the sacred beast Fire Kylan had sensed them and warned them. It seems that we have to go there. Hearing the warning of the Fire Kylan, Yi Chunfeng did not dare to go further. He quickly searched the topographic map of the periphery of the vast heaven domain in his mind and decided to take the risk to go to a dangerous place that was marked in detail on the map. That place was full of space cracks. If they were not careful, they could be swallowed by the space cracks. Blood and qi ignition. After making the decision, Yi Chunfeng ignited his blood and increased his speed to the maximum. Taking advantage of Mo Fengyun's shock from the Fire Kylan's roar, he flew towards the ominous place. When Mo Fengyun came back to his senses and saw Yi Chunfeng flying away, he immediately sped up and chased after him. As he flew, Yi Chunfeng's soul power sensed that the space around him was becoming fragile. Terrifying space cracks were hidden in the fragile space walls. Gotcha! Just as Yi Chunfeng flew into this fragile space, his sharp senses immediately sensed it. His body flashed, and he quickly dodged. The moment he dodged, a strange space crack appeared and released a powerful devouring force that swallowed everything in the space. Yi Chunfeng, I am really impressed by your courage. I did not expect you to think of escaping from me here. Seeing the space crack that suddenly appeared, Mo Fengyun's face turned gloomy. Although he was very strong and was only one step away from becoming a Class 4 Beast Emperor, if he was swallowed by the space crack, he would not be able to survive. However, he was determined to kill Yi Chunfeng. After a slight hesitation, he still took the risk and chased after him. Yi Chunfeng flew into the fragile space. The power of the God-Eater brain was fully released to sense the space cracks hidden in the space walls and to avoid the space cracks that could appear at any time. In these space cracks, when Yi Chunfeng was dodging the space cracks, the God-Eater brain's soul power forcefully penetrated the space cracks. It sensed that the space cracks were not filled with destructive space energy, but an independent space. Myriad transformation Black Lotus. Taking advantage of the time when Yi Chunfeng was dodging the space cracks, Mo Fengyun caught up with him. With the help of the demon heart, he condensed several black lotuses that contained destructive energy and bombarded Yi Chunfeng. Boom, boom, boom. Several myriad transformation black lotuses exploded beside Yi Chunfeng at the same time. The burst of destructive energy shattered the space and swept across a large area, engulfing Yi Chunfeng. After being attacked by the myriad transformation black lotuses, a large area of the fragile space collapsed, causing Yi Chunfeng to be trapped and unable to extricate himself. Yi Chunfeng, go and die. 10 Directions Demonic Slash. When Yi Chunfeng was trapped in the collapsed space and his life was hanging by a thread, Mo Fengyun dodged a space crack. Holding the sky demonic Dao weapon, he slashed out a cross-shaped beam that tore open the fragile space and slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Not good. Seeing the 10 Directions demonic slash coming down, Yi Chunfeng had several thoughts. In the end, he did not summon the sword puppet. Instead, he hugged his body and defended with all his strength. Boom! There was a deafening explosion as the 10 Directions demonic slash with shocking destructive power slashed onto Yi Chunfeng's body. Blood splattered everywhere as he was slashed into the collapsed space. He fell into the terrifying space crack and disappeared. P.S. Returning from the annual meeting. Looking for red envelopes. Red envelopes. There is an event for red envelopes. In addition, there is an event for free VIP. Everyone, come and support. Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 658. Phew, I finally killed him. Mo Fengyun heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Yi Chunfeng being swallowed by the spatial crack. However, Mo Fengyun felt somewhat regretful that he had killed Yi Chunfeng in such a manner. He regretted that he did not get Yi Chunfeng's many treasures. However, with his current strength, he did not have the courage to break through the spatial wall and snatch Yi Chunfeng's belongings. After hesitating for a while, he remembered the place where Yi Chunfeng died, left several marks, and turned to leave. He was going to wait until his strength improved to the level 6 combat beast Emperor realm before coming here to look for Yi Chunfeng's belongings and explore the secrets of Vast Heaven Domain. However, Yi Chunfeng's current state wasn't what Mo Fengyun had imagined. He wasn't being torn apart by the terrifying power of space. At this moment, under the guidance of the God-Eater brain, he smashed through a spatial wall and entered a pitch-black space with thin spiritual energy. Phew, the God-Eater brain did not disappoint me. There is an independent space hidden in the spatial crack. Mo Fengyun should not dare to chase after me now. After falling into this independent space, Yi Chunfeng heaved a sigh of relief. He lay on the slightly damp ground and panted heavily. After resting on the ground for a while, Yi Chunfeng immediately consumed 2 heaven-level soul elixirs and controlled the Tao of life to heal his injuries. Rumble! Suddenly, a deafening explosion sounded in the pitch-black space. The power of the entire space became chaotic and formed a storm that swept across the heavens and earth. What kind of power is this? Feeling the sudden appearance of the destructive storm, Yi Chunfeng, who was healing his injuries, changed his expression slightly. He quickly radiated the power of the God-Eater brain and looked for a place to hide. However, this space was too spacious. Yi Chunfeng could not find a place to hide at all. He had to burn his divine devil bloodline and transform into his divine devil body to withstand the destructive storm. After transforming into his fiend god body, Yi Qinfeng's physical body was comparable to a pseudo-Dao treasure. However, the destructive storm was too terrifying. Yi Qinfeng withstood the destructive storm for more than 2 hours. Gradually, he could no longer withstand it. Tiny cracks appeared on the surface of his physical body. Vermilion bird cauldron, suppress space. With his body injured, Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the vermilion bird cauldron. He controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to release a powerful suppressive force that suppressed space and forcefully weakened the destructive power of the storm. Junior, if you don't want to die, quickly come to the northwest 5 kilometers away. There is an ancient tree here that can help you withstand the storm. Just as Yi Qinfeng was using the suppression of the vermilion bird cauldron to resist the destructive storm, a mysterious voice suddenly entered Yi Qinfeng's ears. Northwest, Gu Mu. Yi Qinfeng was stunned. He did not expect that there would be someone in this black space. However, he did not have much time to think. He quickly took out the Emperor's celestial sword and slashed through the destructive storm that was surging towards him. He took the risk and flew towards the northwest. Gu Mu. There is indeed an ancient tree here. Yi Qinfeng was like a lone boat that broke through layers of destructive storms. After paying a huge price, he finally sensed an ancient tree in the northwest of the black space that was like a pillar that supported the heavens. It was not affected by the destructive storms and contained powerful Dao intent. 7 swords of judgment destroy. The god-devouring brain locked onto the location of the ancient tree. Yi Qinfeng's body contained several Dao intents and nearly 40 million kilograms of force. He held the Emperor's celestial sword and slashed out a spaceship that could destroy space. It tore through space and opened up a passageway. Whoosh! Immediately after, there was an ear-piercing sound as the golden rock's wings flapped violently, creating a hurricane that pushed Yi Qinfeng's flying speed continuously. He passed through the passageway created by the spaceship and arrived at the bottom of the ancient tree. What kind of tree is this? In the area that its tree crown covers, the destructive power of the destructive storms is actually greatly reduced. After arriving at the bottom of the ancient tree's luxuriant tree crown, Yi Qinfeng discovered that the destructive storms were restrained by the ancient tree, and their power was greatly reduced. He heaved a sigh of relief. I didn't expect that after being trapped in this damned place for nearly 10,000 years, someone would finally come here again. At this moment, a deep and old voice rang out from the ancient tree. Thank you for your help earlier. Yi Qinfeng's soul sensed that there was a terrifying soul hidden in the ancient tree, and thanked him softly. What a strong physical body. If I'm not wrong, your physical body has reached the level of a quasi-Dao treasure. The old soul said, otherwise, with your strength as a 5th-grade defiant beast king, you wouldn't have been able to withstand the attack of the storm in the dojo. The storm in the dojo. So this storm originated from the power of the dojo. Yi Qinfeng's eyebrows twitched slightly. He finally understood why the destructive storms were so terrifying. With your strength, why have you been trapped here for nearly 10,000 years and not come out? Just from the long years that the old soul had existed for, Yi Qinfeng could sense how terrifying it was at its peak. He asked in confusion. Go out? If I could go out, would I still be in this state? The old soul said. Why? This spatial zone can only be entered and not exited? Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly and asked softly. That's right. This spatial zone is enveloped by the powerful dojo's power. One can only enter and not exit. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been trapped here for nearly 10,000 years. All right, Junior. You can slowly enjoy your loneliness here. I am going to sleep. After finishing his words, the old soul didn't move anymore. Can't I really leave? Yi Qinfeng was determined to pursue the pinnacle of the martial Dao and wasn't willing to be trapped here. After pondering for a moment, he sat cross-legged under the ancient tree and controlled the life Dao pattern to heal his injuries. He was prepared to wait for the storm to disperse so that he could use the power of the God-Eater brain to find a way to leave. Just as Yi Chunfeng was healing his injuries, the old soul that was supposed to be asleep suddenly broke out of the ancient tree and turned into a soul spirit sword. It entered Yi Chunfeng's soul sea. Why? You want to erase my soul spirit and seize my physical body? Yi Chunfeng's soul spirit had been tempered thousands of times and was extremely powerful. When the old soul lied that it was in deep sleep, he noticed something was wrong. He didn't go into deep sleep and was quietly accumulating his strength. That's right. I have never seen such a perfect physical body. After seizing your body and cultivating for another 100 years, I might have a chance to leave this godforsaken place. After successfully breaking into Yi Chunfeng's soul sea, the old soul revealed a sinister expression and spoke with pride. It seems like this place isn't a dead end. There is still a chance to leave. Yi Chunfeng spoke indifferently. So what? I'm afraid you won't live to see that day. While speaking, the old soul burst out with powerful soul spirit power and wanted to forcefully devour Yi Chunfeng's soul spirit and seize his perfect physical body. You are wrong. It isn't that I won't live to see that day, but you won't. God-Eater Brain, devour! With a thought, the God-Eater Brain appeared in Yi Chunfeng's mind. It released a powerful devouring power and tried to devour the old soul spirit. What is this? Looking at the God-Eater Brain that appeared in Yi Chunfeng's soul sea and released a terrifying devouring power, the old soul smelled a strong aura. He decisively gave up on the idea of devouring Yi Chunfeng's soul spirit and wanted to leave his soul sea. You want to leave now? It's too late. The God-Eater Brain condensed a black devouring whirlpool and engulfed the old soul. In an instant, it twisted him into pieces and devoured him completely. Soul fragments. After devouring the old soul, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly discovered that the God-Eater Brain had condensed a soul fragment. He was overjoyed and immediately controlled his soul to fuse with the soul fragment and obtain the information of the old soul spirit. Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 659. Hai Wudao, Class 4 Combat Beast Emperor. 10,000 years ago, he was the great elder of the East Sea Palace, the #1 faction in the eastern continent. At Yen. While fusing with the soul fragment, Yi Chunfeng obtained part of the aged soul fragment's memory and found out his identity. I wonder if the East Sea Palace or the Yu family is stronger. Yi Chunfeng had limited understanding of the eastern continent and wasn't clear about the changes in the eastern continent's current situation. Yes, this is 20 water Dao patterns and the superior Dao skill, triple ultimate water restriction. When Yi Chunfeng continued to fuse with Hai Wudao's soul fragment, he unexpectedly discovered that the soul fragment contained the water Dao intent and an extremely powerful superior Dao skill. I didn't expect Hai Wudao's soul fragment to contain a complete set of superior Dao skill inheritance and 20 water Dao patterns. Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly and revealed a faint smile. Controlling the God-Eater Brain to forcibly memorize the triple ultimate water restriction and the 20 water Dao patterns, Yi Chunfeng continued to fuse with Hai Wudao's soul fragment. Finally, from Hai Wudao's soul fragment, Yi Chunfeng found out the only way to leave this mysterious space. The space that Yi Chunfeng was in was enveloped by the terrifying power of the dojo and could only be entered but not exited. However, after nearly 10,000 years of searching, Hai Wudao still found an opportunity to leave this space, and that opportunity was this towering ancient tree in front of him. This towering ancient tree was the core of this space. As long as he could destroy this ancient tree, he would be able to temporarily break the power of the dojo enveloping this space and leave this place. This was also the reason why Hai Wudao lured Yi Chunfeng here and wanted to forcefully possess him. After possessing Yi Chunfeng and fusing with Yi Chunfeng for 100 years, he would be able to destroy this ancient tree with the help of Yi Chunfeng's powerful physical body and leave this godforsaken place. However, what he didn't expect was that Yi Chunfeng had the terrifying God-Eater Brain in his soul sea. It devoured his soul and shattered all his hopes. After he found out about the method to leave this space, Yi Chunfeng sat cross-legged beneath the ancient tree that contained formidable Tao insight, and he silently regulated his breathing as he waited for the tempest in the Tao grounds to disperse. After about a day or so, the storm that swept through the entire space began to weaken and finally disappeared. Chaos Divine Wood, devour! The storm in the dojo disappeared. Yi Chunfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Wood without hesitation. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to form tens of thousands of five-colored root. He attacked the towering ancient tree, wanting to devour it. After being attacked by the Chaos Divine Wood, a force that made Yi Chunfeng feel suffocated immediately gushed out from this ancient tree. The treetop that enveloped several li of land shook violently, and a large number of leaves fell down. They attacked the Chaos Divine Wood like extremely sharp blades, forcibly tearing apart the five-colored root. Meanwhile, Yi Chunfeng was also forced back by the sharp leaves, dodging outside the area enveloped by the towering ancient tree. The five-colored roots condensed from the Chaos Divine Wood have actually been torn apart. The Chaos Divine Wood and the towering ancient tree clashed fiercely for an incense stick's worth of time. Yi Chunfeng was surprised to discover that the extremely tough five-colored roots of the Chaos Divine Wood that had taken root in the towering ancient tree had been torn apart by the dense Tao wood leaf. This towering Tao wood is so powerful that it actually tore apart the roots of the Chaos Divine Wood. Yi Chunfeng was shocked when he sensed that the roots of the Chaos Divine Wood had been torn apart. This was because in his memory, there was nothing that could tear apart the roots of the Chaos Divine Wood. Chaos Divine Wood, come back! Yi Chunfeng watched as the Chaos Divine Wood was devoured by the Tao wood leaves that blotted out the sky. He did not hesitate to summon the Chaos Divine Wood back into his body. After the Chaos Divine Wood vanished, the towering ancient tree that had fused with the power of the Tao grounds gradually calmed down. The chaotic space gradually returned to normal. It looks like this method won't work. The power of the Chaos Divine Wood alone probably won't be able to devour this towering ancient tree that has fused with the power of the Tao grounds. Yi Chunfeng frowned. He looked at the sacred and inviolable towering ancient tree that had vanished into the night. He regulated his breathing as he tried to think of a solution. 2 days passed very quickly. The storm that swept through the entire space appeared once more, baptizing all things. Yi Chunfeng had no choice but to hide in the area enveloped by the towering ancient tree. Because it could not sense the aura of the Chaos Divine Wood, the towering ancient tree did not take the initiative to attack Yi Chunfeng. This allowed Yi Chunfeng to let out a long sigh of relief. Under its protection, he waited in silence for the storm to disperse. I wonder if I can forcefully tear apart the trunk of the ancient tree and let the Chaos Divine Wood break into it. Would it be possible to devour it from the inside? While waiting for the storm to disperse, Yi Chunfeng thought of a feasible method. Although this method was more dangerous, it was the only feasible method that Yi Chunfeng could think of at the moment. The storm in the Tao grounds dissipated after 2 days. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 2 heavenly beasts and the sword puppet together. He was prepared to take this opportunity to split the towering ancient tree. Do it! The storm in the Tao grounds dissipated completely. Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to burn his divine demon bloodline and transformed into his strongest divine demon body. He condensed 7 killing halos. Emperor Heaven Sword Technique, Emperor Heaven Sword. After activating all of his trump cards, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to burn the Emperor Sky Sword Spirit and fuse his many trump cards together. At close range, he slashed out the Emperor Sky Sword that was filled with the Emperor's Qi and had extremely strong destructive power. Roar! Roar! The 2 heavenly beasts also exploded with their strongest strength the moment Yi Chunfeng attacked with all his might. Together with the sword puppet, they attacked the towering ancient tree trunk. Boom! 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 A series of deafening explosions rang out. The four powerful attacks blended together and tore apart the ancient tree trunk as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, forcibly blasting open a huge gap. After being attacked, the ancient tree that had intelligence was instantly enraged. The tree crown that covered several miles shook violently. It continuously fused with the power of the Tao grounds and filled the leaves of the Tao ground. It attacked Yi Chunfeng and wanted to tear him apart. Chaos Divine Wood, it's all up to you now. As the leaves of the Tao grounds attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the Chaos Divine Wood and struck it into the crack on the tree trunk that was healing quickly. Following which, Yi Chunfeng teleported the two heavenly beasts back into the universe realm. Under the protection of the sword puppet, he quickly flew backward. Boom, boom, boom. As Yi Chunfeng flew, the leaves of the Tao grounds, which were as sharp as knives, attacked the sword puppet densely, quickly consuming the energy in the sword puppet's body. Although Yi Chunfeng had the sword puppet's defense, there were too many leaves of the Tao grounds attacking him. His powerful body, which was comparable to a quasi-Tao treasure, was still injured by a large number of leaves of the Tao grounds. A large amount of blood flowed out and dyed his body red. Phew, what sharp leaves of the Tao grounds! When Yi Chunfeng saw that his body, which was comparable to a quasi-Tao treasure, was easily cut by the leaves of the Tao grounds, he could not help but be surprised by the sharpness of the leaves of the Tao grounds. After flying out of the area covered by the towering ancient tree, Yi Chunfeng immediately sat cross-legged on the ground and controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to extend a large number of five-colored roots. They broke into the hard body of the towering ancient tree and crazily devoured the terrifying energy contained in the towering ancient tree. Once again, the Chaos Divine Wood devoured the energy. The towering ancient tree was angry and continuously mobilized the power of the Tao grounds to merge into the tree body. The space centered on the towering ancient tree fell into chaos. As the towering ancient tree shook violently, cracks appeared in the space filled with the power of the Tao grounds. Through the cracks in space, the soul power radiated by the God-Eater brain felt the existence of a new space. 30/30709 Mobile Reading Site. Book Address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 660. It seems that Hai Wudao's guess is right. This towering ancient tree is the only opportunity to leave this space. At Yen. The God-eating brain sensed the aura of a new space through a large number of space cracks. Yi Chunfeng showed a rare smile and continued to communicate with the Chaos Divine Wood, ordering it to devour the towering ancient tree with all its strength. Facing the crazy devouring of the Chaos Divine Wood, the resistance of the towering ancient tree became stronger and stronger. However, the Chaos Divine Wood was parasitic in its body, which greatly affected its attack. It could only control the powerful force of the Taoist field to crush the Chaos Divine Wood. Although the Chaos Divine Wood was only in the form of a young tree, it was one of the most powerful divine trees in the universe. The power of the Taoist field combined with the Taoist field could not crush it at all. However, under the crazy attack of the Taoist field, the difficulty of the Chaos Divine Wood's devouring was increasing. Time slowly passed as the two divine trees fought fiercely. No, I can't waste time like this. Otherwise, once the Taoist field storm appears, I'm afraid I'll be in danger without the towering ancient tree to block it. The devouring speed of the Chaos Divine Wood slowed down. Yi Chunfeng quickly summoned the Suzaku Cauldron and the Scarlet Thunder Pearl, controlling the two Taoist treasures to attack the towering ancient tree and diverting its attack. Suzaku Cauldron, suppress. Thunder of Death, destroy. Yi Chunfeng spurted 2 mouthfuls of blood essence into the 2 Taoist treasures, activating the attack power of the 2 Taoist treasures, suppressing and attacking the towering ancient tree. Under the attack of the Suzaku Cauldron and the Scarlet Thunder Pearl, the towering ancient tree shook violently. A large number of sharp leaves fell off and flew toward the two Taoist treasures. Wrath of divine punishment. While the towering ancient tree was being diverted by the two Taoist treasures, Yi Chunfeng was multitasking. He controlled the three divine spirits to spurt out of his body, turning them into three-colored energy balls, bombarding the towering ancient tree. Under the full attack of the two Taoist treasures and the wrath of divine punishment, the power of the towering ancient tree was greatly dispersed. Seizing this opportunity, the chaos divine would increase its devouring power, continuously devouring the majestic energy contained in the towering ancient tree. About a day or so, the chaos divine wood, which was devouring crazily, grew a little taller. 205 colored leaves condensed on the tree crown, and the tree gave birth to 36 streaks of chaotic power. Chaos force attack. A tremendous amount of chaotic force was produced. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled 16 streams of chaotic force to attack the thick trunk of the towering tree. He forcibly tore several cracks in the tree that was filled with the power of the Tao field. The towering ancient tree was heavily damaged by the chaos force, and the power that crushed the chaos divine would weaken further. As for the chaos divine wood, it devoured a large amount of energy, and the power it contained grew stronger and stronger. Slowly, the towering ancient tree, which was nearly 100 meters tall, began to wither. Large patches of withered branches were crushed under the attacks of the two great Tao treasures and the wrath of divine retribution. Very quickly, 2 days passed. However, because the towering ancient tree had fused with a large amount of the power of the Taoist field, the Taoist field storm that swept through the entire space did not appear on time. This made Yi Chunfeng breathe a long sigh of relief. He continued to control the two great Taoist treasures to attack, severely damaging the towering ancient tree and forcibly weakening its power to buy time. Chaos energy attack. The chaos divine wood devoured a large amount of energy and produced dozens of streams of chaotic force. At this time, Yi Chunfeng controlled the streams of chaotic force to attack the towering ancient tree. He continued to tear its trunk, causing huge cracks to appear on the huge treetop. Finally, after nearly 4 days of frenzied devouring, the energy contained in the towering ancient tree was almost completely devoured by the chaos divine wood. The luxuriant treetop completely withered, and the huge trunk was also riddled with holes by the chaos force. Rumble! The towering ancient tree broke, and the huge trunk smashed heavily on the ground. The power of the Tao field that enveloped the space was weakened to the extreme. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng summoned the chaos divine wood that had transformed into a small tree and grown thousands of 5-colored leaves into his body. His entire body swept into the air, cutting through the dark space. Soul of vermilion bird, burn. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng forcibly burned the soul of vermilion bird and raised the power of vermilion bird cauldron to the peak. Like a scorching meteor, he crashed into the cracked space wall with all his strength. Boom! Without the power of the Tao field, the cracked space wall couldn't withstand the full force of the vermilion bird cauldron and was directly smashed through. Yi Chunfeng followed closely behind the vermilion bird cauldron and flew out of this dark space, passing through the void and entering a mustard seed space. What rich spiritual energy! After flying into the second mustard seed space, Yi Chunfeng discovered that this space was completely different from the dark space. This space was as bright as day, and the spiritual energy was extremely rich. A vast sea of clouds floated in the azure sky, a cheerful stream flowed through the lush green grass, and a variety of spiritual trees of various shapes condensed into fruits that made people drool. The picturesque scene was like a real fairyland. What a beautiful place! I didn't expect these two spaces to be two extremes. One is death, the other is life. Smelling the rich spiritual energy and looking at the beautiful scenery in front of him, Yi Chunfeng decided to cultivate here for a period of time and break through to the 6th grade Defiant Beast King realm. If he could break through to the 6th grade Defiant Beast King realm and cultivate the Heavenly Demon Rope, the 7th move of the 7 Sword of Judgment, the Tao of Water, and the 58 strands of chaotic energy produced by the Chaos Divine Wood, he would be able to severely injure Mo Fengyun and destroy the Western Devil Sect. This was because this fairy-like space was filled with a large number of precious spiritual fruit. Before Yi Chunfeng went into seclusion to cultivate, he summoned the spirit fish with a special physique and let her eat the fruits here to cultivate. Looking at the bright red fruits that contained powerful spiritual energy, the spirit fish's beautiful big eyes immediately curved into the shape of a crescent moon. She ran over excitedly, plucked the spiritual fruits, and happily swallowed them into her stomach. Golden Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos Divine Beast, protect me! Yi Chunfeng glanced at the spirit fish's cheerful back and smiled faintly. He summoned the 2 heavenly beasts to protect him as he began to fuse with the majestic energy that the Chaos Divine Wood had devoured. The energy that the towering ancient tree contained was so powerful that it transformed the Chaos Divine Wood from a seedling into a small tree, which had the initial offensive power. If the Chaos Divine Wood continued to transform and grow, it would become Yi Chunfeng's natal magic treasure and his greatest trump card. Boom! The energy that contained powerful Tao intent gushed out from the Chaos Divine Wood and rushed into Yi Chunfeng's 8 meridians like a broken dam. It forcibly opened all the meridians and blood vessels in his body, causing immense pain to spread throughout his body. Strands of bright red blood flowed out of his opened pores and dyed his entire body red. However, Yi Chunfeng had a strong martial Tao heart and an unyielding heart. The tearing pain did not affect him in the slightest. He endured the immense pain that came from his body and circulated the soul-devouring tactic at a high speed to refine the majestic Tao intent energy and improve his strength bit by bit. The heaven and earth spiritual energy within a radius of a few miles was attracted by the high-speed circulation of the soul-devouring tactic. It was like thousands of soldiers and horses were attracted to him, causing the weather to change and forming a huge energy vortex above Yi Chunfeng's head. It madly fused into his body and swallowed him directly. Time also passed quickly in Yi Chunfeng's seclusion in a hollow state. 30/30709 Mobile Reading Site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 661. A Level 5 Beast King needed a terrifying amount of energy to break through to the Level 6 Beast King level. There were too many people in the Duhan continent who were stuck at this level, unable to take this step. #. On the other hand, the amount of energy Yi Chunfeng needed to break through to the next level was much more than the average Battle Beast Emperor expert. Even if the Chaos Divine Wood kept pouring pure Tao intent energy into his body, he wouldn't be able to break through to the 6th level of Defiant Beast King realm in a short time. This closed-door cultivation was the longest closed-door cultivation in his life, and it was also an extremely important closed-door cultivation. While Yi Chunfeng was in seclusion in this picturesque space, Mo Fengyun had returned to the West Devil Sect after narrowly escaping from the Azure Heaven region. He began a long period of seclusion to fuse with the great fortuitous encounters Mo Qianxin had obtained in the Dragon Abyss. He stimulated the power of his devil heart and tried to break through to the 4th-class Beast Emperor realm. Once Mo Fengyun broke through to the Level 4 Beast King level, he would be able to raise the level of the West Demon Sect by himself and become one of the 8 Great Saint Land. In the blink of an eye, 9 months had passed. All of a sudden, deafening beastly roars rang out in the silent spiritual chi space. In the past 9 months, the spiritual fish had devoured a large number of spiritual treasures of heaven and earth, and had completed their metamorphosis once again. They were beginning to break through to the 6th grade Defiant Beast King realm. Wow, that little girl is really amazing. It's only been 9 months and she's about to complete her second transformation. This cultivation speed is really terrifying. Looking at the spiritual fish that had transformed into the golden-eyed divine ape and was roaring at the sky, the divine beast of chaos couldn't help but sigh. Yeah, this spiritual fish's talent is too terrifying. I wonder if she can stimulate the second bloodline in her body this time. The Jin-Qing dragon blood lion lazily crawled on the green grass and looked at the spirit fish in the distance as it mutated. It's difficult. The divine beast of chaos shook his head and said, "If I'm not mistaken, the second bloodline hidden in the spiritual fish's body should be a king bloodline of a very high level. In order to activate the king bloodline, she would have to cultivate to the divine saint realm and have a lot of accumulation." As the two heavenly beasts were talking, the spiritual fish's transformation was coming to an end. Her physical strength had also reached a terrifying 20 million Jin. But at this moment, a large number of black clouds suddenly appeared in the blue sky, rushing in from all directions like a surging tide. Yeah, tribulation clouds. Why would there be tribulation clouds here? Could it be that the spiritual fish evolved into a 6th-grade defiant beast emperor and attracted divine punishment? The Chaos Divine Beast and Jin-Qing Dragon Blood Lion widened their eyes in shock as they looked at the dark clouds in the sky and sensed the destructive power in them. Normally, only phenomena that went beyond the common sense of the world would attract heavenly punishment. They couldn't imagine why a spiritual fish breaking through to become a 6th-grade beast king would attract heavenly punishment. That's not right. This heavenly punishment isn't directed at the spiritual fish. It's directed by the Master. Sensing that the power released by the black tribulation cloud was not targeting the spiritual fish, but Yi Chunfeng, who was being swallowed by the spirit energy vortex, the Jin-Qing dragon blood lion cried out in alarm. It seems that the ancient tree that the primal chaos divine would devoured is not simple. Otherwise, when Boss fused with that ancient tree's power, he would not have attracted the heavenly punishment. Looking at the black tribulation clouds above their heads that were growing thicker and thicker, the two heavenly beasts immediately retreated far away. At the same time, the spiritual fish that had devoured a large number of spiritual items completed its final transformation and broke through to become a 6th-grade defiant beast king. Will Big Brother Qingfeng be alright? Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was shrouded by the tribulation clouds, the spiritual fish that had returned to its human form asked the two heavenly beasts softly with concern in its eyes. "Don't worry. Your Big Brother Qingfeng's life is tough. A mere divine punishment won't kill him." Although the power of the heavenly punishment was extremely great, and there were too many people who had fallen under the heavenly punishment throughout history, the divine beast of chaos knew how deep Yi Chunfeng's foundation was, and was not worried about him. The black tribulation clouds in the sky were getting thicker and thicker. When it reached a height of 100 feet, a black hurricane was released from the tribulation clouds and swept towards Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground without moving an inch, attacking his body. Large patches of spiritual plants and rocks were destroyed by the black hurricane. However, Yi Chunfeng's body was comparable to a supreme celestial artifact and was not affected at all. Divine punishment. I didn't expect to attract divine punishment when I'm breaking through to become a 6th-grade defiant beast king. Yi Chunfeng was full of energy and was on the verge of breaking through. He had a feeling that he would not feel good if he did not vent it out. He revealed an arrogant smile and opened his eyes that were as deep as the sea. He looked at the tribulation clouds that were crazily accumulating energy in the sky. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng suddenly stood up and swept across the sky. Like a divine sword that could split the heavens and earth, he rushed into the tribulation clouds that contained the destructive power of divine punishment. My goodness! Boss is indeed boss. He actually rushed into the tribulation clouds and challenged the divine punishment. The Chaos Divine Beast knew how dangerous it was to rush into the tribulation clouds and accept the baptism of divine punishment. However, Yi Chunfeng dared to face the divine punishment directly. It was enough to show that he was confident in his own strength. Boom! 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 The divine punishment was provoked by Yi Chunfeng and went berserk. A series of earth-shattering explosions rang out in the tribulation clouds that were hundreds of feet high, swallowing all the sound in the air. Countless amounts of divine punishment quickly gathered and surged toward Yi Chunfeng like a violent tide. It wanted to swallow and destroy him. Facing the power of the heavenly punishment coming from all directions, Yi Chunfeng was not afraid at all. He was like an invincible god of war, using his flesh and blood to resist the attacks of the heavenly punishment, receiving the deepest level of baptism. Boom! 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 Yi Chunfeng's fists moved the heavens and the earth. He stepped on the sky and constantly tore apart the divine punishment's power. A large amount of the divine punishment's power that entered his pores was refined by the highly circulated soul-devouring art and turned into the purest energy. The destructive power of divine punishment was fatal, but the benefits of overcoming divine punishment were also obvious. After the baptism of divine punishment, both the physical body and the soul would be sublimated. To Yi Chunfeng, who'd fused with a large amount of Wood Dao insight energy, the benefits were obvious. With the help of the baptism of divine punishment, Yi Chunfeng was completely capable of fusing the Dao insight energy in his body with the Dao insights he'd comprehended to improve the strength of his Dao insight. First level of the Fire Dao insight, third level of the Lightning Dao insight, second level of the Life Dao insight, third level of the Death Dao insight, fifth level of the Illusion Dao insight. Besides the Heaven Dao and Sword Dao, all the other Dao insights that Yi Chunfeng had comprehended had improved complacently. Especially the Illusion Dao insight, it had even improved to the fifth level. The terrifying divine punishment bombarded Yi Chunfeng for over 2 hours, yet it was unable to heavily injure him. Instead, a large amount of the divine punishment's energy was refined by him, and this completely infuriated the laws of the heavens and the earth. The tribulation clouds that were hundreds of feet high started to revolve swiftly as a divine punishment energy that caused the heavens and the earth to change swiftly condensed to form an enormous ball of divine punishment. Rumble! The ball of divine punishment smashed down. The space couldn't withstand the destructive energy of the ball of divine punishment, and a large area of distortion appeared. The terrifying energy brought about a fatal threat to Yi Chunfeng. Fiend God Bloodline Ignition, Dark Extreme Dao. Looking at the ball of divine punishment that was crushing the space and attacking him, Yi Chunfeng instantly transformed into his Fiend God body and fused several Dao insights together to form the dark extreme energy that was like a violent dragon. He blasted it forward and detonated the ball of divine punishment. Bang! A large area of distortion appeared in the tribulation clouds that were hundreds of feet away. The boundless destructive energy swept through the entire sky and ruthlessly smashed onto Yi Chunfeng's body, shattering his defenses and smashing him to the ground from midair. After suffering the final blow of divine punishment, not only did Yi Chunfeng not die from the collapse of his physical body, but he also borrowed the most fatal energy of divine punishment to break through the bottleneck and break through to the 6th level of Defiant Beast King in one go. 30/30709 Mobile Reading Website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 662. Breakthrough. I've finally broken through to the level 6 Defiant Beast King realm. 77777772E7667474772E636F6D Inch Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood, climbed out of the pit. He looked at the rapidly dispersing tribulation clouds in the sky and smiled faintly. Due to the baptism of heaven's punishment when he broke through, Yi Chunfeng had completely refined the power of Dao wood. His cultivation foundation had become more solid and unfathomable. He didn't need to consolidate his foundation to stabilize his level 6 defiant beast king realm. Roar! Roar! Boss, you're indeed a monster. At this moment, the Chaos Divine Beast, Jin Qing Dragon Bloodlion, and Ling Yu came to Yi Chunfeng's side. Sensing the destructive power in his body, the Chaos Divine Beast roared excitedly. Dragon Bloodlion, transform into your battle form. Let's have a competition. After receiving the power of God's punishment and breaking through to the level 6 defiant Beast King realm, Yi Chunfeng's physical strength had increased tremendously. It had reached an astonishing 20 million Jin of strength. He couldn't wait to test his true strength. Alright. Jin Qing Dragon Bloodlion agreed without hesitation. He transformed into his strongest battle form and started to fight with Yi Chunfeng in the gradually calming space. In order to test his true strength, Yi Chunfeng didn't use his Dao intent. He only integrated with the two-headed Blood Dragon King and relied on his powerful physical strength to fight with Jin Qing Dragon Bloodlion. Boom! 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 A man and a lion fought fiercely against each other. Every time they collided, every time they clashed, a shocking shockwave would be created. The rocks and ground around the two of them exploded. Countless water ripples spread out with them as the center. Awesome, awesome! Yi Chunfeng and Jin Qing Dragon Bloodlion fought fiercely for more than 2 hours. Neither of them could do anything to the other. However, once Yi Chunfeng used his trump card and transformed into his godfiend body, even if Jin Qing Dragon Bloodlion burned its 2 great bloodlines, it wouldn't be able to withstand Yi Chunfeng's fierce attack. Yi Chunfeng's current strength was enough to challenge Mo Fengyun. Brother Chunfeng, can I have a competition with you? Ling Yu's beautiful eyes were burning with fighting spirit. She looked at Yi Chunfeng and asked eagerly. Of course. Looking at the spiritual fish that had transformed into a Class 6 defiant Beast King, Yi Chunfeng also wanted to know her true strength, so he agreed without hesitation. Big brother Chunfeng, I have a lot of strength now, you have to be careful. The spirit fish reminded him sweetly. A violent and tyrannical aura gushed out from her petite body. She stomped on the ground and smashed her tiny fists towards Yi Chunfeng. Boom! Their fists collided with each other, and a blinding light burst out from their fists. 20 million Jin of force. The spirit fish actually has the same strength as me. Yi Chunfeng's heart was in turmoil as he was shocked by the spiritual fish's terrifying physical strength. Just as Yi Chunfeng was still in shock, the spirit fish took a strange step and suddenly disappeared in front of Yi Chunfeng, leaving behind an afterimage. What a fast speed! Sensing the danger behind him, Yi Chunfeng did not panic. With a flash of lightning under his feet, he dodged the attack of the spiritual fish like a zigzag bolt of lightning. Hee, big brother Chunfeng, be careful! 8 divine ape shadows! The moment Yi Chunfeng dodged, the spirit fish pursed its lips and smiled. Using the divine ape clan's inherited skill, it caught up with Yi Chunfeng in an instant. It wanted to use its speed to suppress Yi Chunfeng's attack. But after the baptism of heaven's punishment and breaking through to the Class 6 defiant Beast King realm, Yi Chunfeng's strength had undergone a qualitative change. His attack power had become extremely terrifying. He stepped on the lightning flash and fought the spiritual fish with speed. It was an intense battle. Boss has picked up a treasure this time. That spirit fish is already so strong before transforming into a divine ape. How strong would she be after transforming into a divine ape? It seems like I have to raise my strength as soon as possible and rebuild my body. Otherwise, I'm afraid my strength will be at the bottom. Witnessing the powerful combat power of the spirit fish, the divine beast of chaos who had lost his physical body and could only attack with his voice, muttered to himself. However, it wasn't easy for him to restore his physical body. Other than raising his strength to an extremely high level, he also needed a great opportunity. Spirit fish, transform into a divine ape. Let me see your strongest strength. After the intense battle, Yi Chunfeng shouted at the spirit fish whose face was flushed red and who had exhausted a lot of energy. Alright. The spirit fish nodded her little head. She instantly ignited the power of her bloodline and transformed into a golden-eyed divine ape. Waves of violent energy exuded from her body. As she punched out, Yi Chunfeng could clearly feel the space around him tremble. The powerful qi flow in the air surged into the spirit fish's fist, imperceptibly increasing the power of her punch. Feeling the power of the spirit fish's punch, Yi Chunfeng immediately took a step forward. His foot sank into the ground as he compressed his strength to the extreme and punched out. Boom! When the two fists collided, the fist radiance on the surface of Yi Chunfeng's fist shattered. The powerful impact caused Yi Chunfeng's arm to go numb. His entire body was pushed back uncontrollably, leaving behind more than 10 deep footprints on the ground. 35 million gene of strength. When the spirit fish transformed into a divine ape, her explosive attack is almost at the level of a divine demon. After experiencing the power of the spirit fish's transformation into a divine ape, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but be shocked. Alright, spirit fish, let's end the battle here. Yi Chunfeng shook his numb arm and suggested loudly. Alright. After saying that, the spirit fish suppressed the surging power of her bloodline and returned to her cute appearance. Spirit fish, you really didn't disappoint me. With your transformed strength, you should be able to fight against a level 3 combat beast emperor. Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile and said, but I know that there is still a huge gap between my strength and big brother Chingfeng's. Although she managed to push Yi Chunfeng back with a punch, the spirit fish knew that once Yi Chunfeng used his trump card, she would be the one to lose. Cultivate well. Let's walk to the peak of the martial Tao together. Yi Chunfeng gently stroked the spirit fish's head and said dotingly, Alright, spirit fish. There are still many spiritual fruits in this space. You can continue to eat them and cultivate. I'm going to continue cultivating too. Yi Chunfeng said softly. He wanted to spend some more time to properly comprehend the various Tao skills and the Tao inside of water in order to further increase his strength. And the spirit fish nodded. In a flash, it dashed towards a spiritual mountain with rare fruits growing on it. Yi Chunfeng sat cross-legged on the ground and adjusted his breathing for a while. He then started to cultivate the 7th move of the 7 Sword of Judgment and comprehend the 20 water Tao patterns in the God Eater's brain. Soon, more than 5 months passed. In these 5 months, with the help of the God Eater's brain, Yi Chunfeng not only grasped 20 water Tao patterns and cultivated his water Tao intent to the 2nd level, but he also grasped the 7th move of the 7 Sword of Judgment and the 1st move of the 3 Absolutes of Water Prohibition, Illusory Shark Water Shadow. However, as Yi Chunfeng did not have the foundation of the demonic art, he was unable to comprehend the Heavenly Demon Ghost Chains and Heavenly Demon Dance of All Directions. He was also unable to grasp the 3rd move of the Emperor Heavenly Sword Art, which was also the most powerful move, the Emperor Shocking Slash. However, Yi Chunfeng was not discouraged. He believed that with his talent and the God Eater's powerful deduction ability, he would be able to grasp the 3 Tao skills in no time. It has been 1 year and 2 months. It is time to come out of seclusion and take revenge on Mo Fengyun. After calculating the time, Yi Chunfeng stopped his seclusion and stretched his body. He teleported the 2 heavenly beasts and the spirit fish back to the universe realm and took most of the spiritual items in the space. He then forcefully tore open the tough space wall and flew away. 30/30709 Mobile Reading Website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 663. Early in the morning, rays of gentle sunlight penetrated through the sea of clouds and sprinkled over the boundless inland sea, rippling waves of light. #Yen. In this inland sea, there were many islands that looked like stars. And these islands of different sizes and shapes were the Star Islands where the Western Demon Sect was located. At this time, the entire Western Demon Sect was jubilant and lively. Because of Yi Qinfeng's death, Mo Fengyun was enlightened. After a year of seclusion, he fused with the opportunity Mo Qianxin brought back from the Dragon Abyss as well as the energy contained in the demon heart and broke through the bottleneck shackles, breaking through to the fourth-class Beast Emperor realm. After breaking through, Mo Fengyun's ambition swelled to the limit. He couldn't wait to announce to the entire Duhan continent that the Western Demon Sect had become one of the 8 great lands. Look, it's the Blue Luan. The people of the number 1 faction in the southern continent, Myriad Beast Mountain, are here. An ear-piercing bird cry suddenly resounded in the blue sky. Several large birds with long tails and covered in green feathers streaked across the sky like divine vermilion birds. They flew over at an extremely fast speed. I didn't expect that the banquet of our Western Demon Sect becoming one of the 8 great lands would even have people from Myriad Beast Mountain coming to congratulate us. Originally, the 10,000 Beast Mountain was indeed a bit stronger than our Western Devil Sect. However, things are different now. Sect Master has broken through to the 4th grade Beast Emperor realm and can sweep away the 10,000 Beast Mountain by himself. How could they not come to congratulate him? Not to mention Myriad Beast Mountain, I heard that the Eastern Continent's Yu family will also send people to congratulate us. It won't be long before our Western Demon Sect becomes an existence like the Yu family, respected by millions of people. Looking at the Blue Luan flying over at an extremely fast speed, the disciples of the Western Demon Sect showed a proud expression and flattered themselves. Haha, Brother Fengyun, congratulations! A tall and sturdy middle-aged man wearing a black robe made of animal skin and exuding a powerful oppressive aura led a group of experts from the 10,000 Beast Mountain to the White Jade Plaza of the Western Devil Sect. Seeing the proud Mo Fengyun, he immediately stepped forward and congratulated him. Brother Liyun, please forgive me for not coming out to meet you. Seeing that Shou Liyun, the sect master of the 10,000 Beast Mountain, who was the number 1 force in the southern continent, had personally brought the experts of the 10,000 Beast Mountain over, the smile on Mo Fengyun's face grew wider. He immediately stepped forward to exchange pleasantries. Brother Fengyun, it hasn't even been 2 years and you've already broken through 2 realms, reaching the 4th grade Battle Beast Emperor realm. You've raised the Western Devil Sect to one of the 8 great Holy Lands in one fell swoop. This kind of achievement is truly unprecedented. With this kind of achievement, you'll definitely be able to step onto the peak of the Duhan continent in the future. The 10,000 Beast Mountain's Lord, Shou Liyun, loudly praised. Thank you for your kind words, Mo Fengyun replied with a smile. Successfully breaking through to the level 4 Beast Emperor realm had indeed inflated his ambition to the limit. He believed that as long as his strength increased further, he would be able to retrieve Yi Qinfeng's relics from the Azure Heaven domain and find a way to subdue that fire Qilin. Not only would he be able to stand at the peak of the Duhan continent, he would also be able to ascend to the vaster heaven domain and pursue the supreme Tao. The Yu family's 2nd elder, 3rd elder, and great guardian have arrived. At this time, 2 powerful dragon roars resounded. The experts of the Yu family rode their black Jiao dragons and arrived at the Western Devil Sect to personally congratulate Mo Fengyun. Brother Fengyun, you're busy. We won't disturb you any longer. Seeing that the Yu family had sent 3 super experts to congratulate Mo Fengyun, Shou Liyun couldn't help but reveal a trace of envy. All right. Mo Fengyun nodded and said, Qianli, bring Brother Liyun and the others to the hall to rest. Following the arrival of the Yu family's experts, the atmosphere in the Western Devil Sect was pushed to a climax. The faces of the Western devil sect's disciples were filled with pride and arrogance as they looked at the disciples of the other major forces. Devil sect master, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for a year, you've broken through again. I'm truly envious, Yu Qinyuan, who was wearing a white robe, said calmly as he sat in the Western devil sect's hall and drank a mouthful of fragrant tea. The reason why the Yu family sent 3 elders here was not to congratulate Mo Fengyun, but because they suspected that Yi Chunfeng had died in his hands. Furthermore, everything Yi Chunfeng had been taken away by him. Therefore, they wanted to negotiate with him and get him to hand over some of Yi Chunfeng's treasures. I was just lucky. The cunning Mo Fengyun had already guessed the purpose of the Yu family's visit. However, after breaking through to the 4th-grade Beast Emperor realm, he no longer feared and relied on the Yu family like before. And if he wanted to reach the peak of the martial path, the Yu family was a huge mountain that he had to cross. Devil Sect Master, let's not beat around the bush. Today, other than congratulating you, we also have an important matter to discuss with you. The second elder of the Yu family, Yu Shiyu, was dressed in a dark blue robe and had white hair. His body was emitting a thick killing intent, giving off a ferocious feeling. He was 1 step away from becoming a level 4 Beast Emperor. Second elder, please speak. Mo Fengyun sat motionlessly on the chair. His expression was so calm that no one could see through his thoughts. Sect Master Mo, for you to be able to break through to the 4th-grade Beast Emperor realm so quickly, was it because you had fused with the heaven-bestowed genius Yi Chunfeng's many fortuitous encounters? Yu Shiyu took a sip of tea and went straight to the point. That Yi Chunfeng had indeed died in my hands. However, his corpse was swallowed by the spatial crack in the Tiansong region. Therefore, I did not manage to obtain everything he had. The reason why I could break through so quickly was all thanks to that demon heart. Mo Fengyun explained slowly. Swallowed by the spatial crack? How could that be so coincidental? Yu Shiyu and the others did not believe Mo Fengyun's words. He continued, Devil Sect Master, that Yi Chunfeng had a close relationship with our Yu family's young mistress, Yu Nikhang. Our Yu family does not want much. We only want to take back the few keepsakes that our young mistress left for Yi Chunfeng. When Yu Qinyuan and the others brought back what happened in Longyuan's sacred city to the Yu family, it caused a huge commotion in the Yu family. The current head of the Yu family even found out about Yi Chunfeng's identity from the grieving Yu Nikhang. He wanted to use Yu Nikhang as an excuse to ask for Yi Chunfeng's belongings. Second elder, Fengyun can swear to the heavens that I really did not obtain Yi Chunfeng's corpse. His corpse really fell into the spatial crack in the Tiansong region. Mo Fengyun swore solemnly. Sigh, Devil Sect Master, although I believe you, the head of the family doesn't. Yu Shiyu and Yu Qinyuan quickly communicated through telepathy. Yu Qinyuan sighed softly and said, Furthermore, the head of the family recently arranged a marriage for young mistress Nikhang. He wants to betroth her to the East Sea Palace's second young master, Hai Sanjian. However, young mistress rejected Yi Chunfeng, which gave the head of the family quite a headache. Therefore, the head of the family wants to take back the keepsakes that young mistress left on Yi Chunfeng to stop her from thinking about him. Third elder, if I can help, I will definitely do it. However, it is true that I did not obtain Yi Chunfeng's belongings. How about this? When young mistress Nikhang gets married, I will personally go to the Yu family and explain this to the head of the Yu family, Mo Fengyun said in a neither haughty nor humble manner. All right then. Hearing Mo Fengyun's flawless explanation, Yu Shiyu and Yu Qinyuan knew that it was meaningless to continue asking. The banquet is ready. Let's eat and talk at the same time, Mo Fengyun invited with a smile as he looked at the 3 people with uncertain expressions on their faces. Just as the Western Devil Sect's celebratory banquet was about to begin and all the major powers were celebrating, a tall and straight man wearing a white robe with a calm expression brought along a cute little girl with a rosy face who was wearing a small floral gown. They rode on an ordinary spirit bird, and followed a small sect of the western continent to the central island of the western devil sect. This man and woman were none other than Yi Chenfeng and Ling Yu, who had changed their identities and left the Azure Heaven region by a close call. P.S. For those who want to see Ling Yu's picture, add WeChat's public number, Ely83. It will be posted on Sunday. 30/30709 mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 664. 222-78496. Go to the small? It's so lively here. I wonder what happened in the West Devil sect. Riding on the spirit bird, Yi Chenfeng and Ling Yu arrived at the edge of the West Devil sect. They discovered that the West Devil sect was decorated with lanterns and colored banners. It was very lively. An endless stream of guests was walking towards the West Devil sect along a road paved with white jade. Hold it, do you have an invitation? Yi Chenfeng held on to Ling Yu's soft hand. When they arrived at the entrance of the West Devil sect, they were stopped by two disciples who questioned them in an arrogant tone. Hearing the questioning of the two West Devil sect disciples, Yi Fengqian's deep eyes immediately shot out illusion Dao insight into the eyes of the two disciples, instantly confusing their consciousness and causing them to lose their sense of self. Following that, Yi Chenfeng held on to Ling Yu's hand and walked into the West Devil sect under the astonished gazes of the crowd. So Mo Fengyun has broken through to the rank 4 combat beast emperor realm. Today is the banquet of the West Devil sect becoming an 8th grade sacred land. While walking towards the West Devil sect, Yi Chenfeng released the soul power in his mind and collected a large amount of important information. He knew what was going to happen in the West Devil sect. Mo Fengyun, you are indeed a troublesome opponent. I didn't expect you to have also broken through in this 1 year. Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly, feeling a little troubled. However, since he was already here, he wouldn't shrink back. Even if he couldn't defeat Mo Fengyun in the end, with his current strength and methods, it was almost impossible for Mo Fengyun to kill him. Moreover, he wanted to destroy the West Devil sect on this joyous occasion and crush Mo Fengyun's ambition, turning him into a laughingstock. Following the bustling crowd, Yi Chenfeng and Ling Yu arrived at the West Devil sect's white jade-paved plaza. They saw a huge battle stage. Two powerful disciples were fighting intensely, adding some excitement to the banquet. Yi Chenfeng recognized one of them. He was the number 1 genius of the Heavenly Silkworm Ridge, Ziyun. The one fighting with Ziyun was the genius disciple of the southern continent's Myriad Beast Mountain, a rank 5 reverse beast king, Shou Bingtian. Senior brother Ziyun, do your best. Defeat him and spread the might of the West continent. Senior brother Ziyun will definitely win. At this time, the battle between the two had reached its climax. Shouts and cheers were mixed together. It was very lively. It seems like the West Devil sect's younger generation really doesn't have anyone else. Ziyun is actually representing the West Devil sect to fight against the disciples of the Southern Great Road's 10,000 Beast Mountain. Yi Chenfeng revealed a faint smile as he watched Ziyun execute the Heavenly Silkworm transformation and use his purple saber to send out sharp saber lights at full power. Black withered vine, bind. Neither of them was willing to give way to the other. After fighting fiercely for the time it took to burn an incense stick, a black withered vine suddenly drilled out of Ziyun's arm. It was like a spirit snake coming out of its hole. It unexpectedly wrapped around Shou Bingtian's strong body in an instant. Another time and space. The rise of China. It's over. After successfully entangling Shou Bingtian, Ziyun let out a roar. Billowing soul power and Tao intent fused into the purple broadsword in his hand. He slashed at Shou Bingtian with mountain-splitting momentum, wanting to defeat him in one go. Not necessarily. A fierce light flashed in Shou Bingtian's eyes. A ferocious beast roar suddenly rang out. At the critical moment, Shou Bingtian summoned his contracted beast, a 5-meter-tall violent bear, its entire body covered in thick fur. It was a level 6 heavenly beast, and it pounced towards Ziyun with a murderous aura. A level 6 heavenly beast was comparable to a level 6 reverse beast king expert. Coupled with the violent bear's terrifying offensive and defensive abilities and bloodline power, it blocked Ziyun's killing blow. Then, the violent bear rose from the ground and pounced at Ziyun with a shocking destructive power. When Ziyun used his movement technique to dodge the fierce pounce of violent bear, Shou Bingtian broke free from the black withered vines and launched a series of powerful punches at Ziyun. Under the double attack of Shou Bingtian and the violent bear, Ziyun's attack was completely suppressed. In the end, he was hit by Shou Bingtian's Dao technique. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell out of the arena, losing the battle. Who else? After defeating Ziyun with the help of the beast taming technique, Shou Bingtian showed a proud smile. He raised his hands and looked down at the Western Land disciples, who had ugly expressions, and shouted arrogantly, "Damn, what an arrogant guy! Master asked me to smash his head." Heisher Tuji looked at the arrogant Shou Bingtian. He clenched his fists and said angrily, "Well, let's end this quickly. Don't weaken the prestige of the Western Land." Demon Taoist's eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness as he nodded and said. However, before Heisher Tuji entered the arena, a petite figure suddenly appeared in the arena and stood in front of the arrogant and despotic Shou Bingtian. This petite figure was Lingyu, the one who came to make trouble for Yi Chenfeng. Well, where did this little girl come from? Is there really no one else in the Western Land? Why did you send a little girl to die? Shou Bingtian frowned slightly. He looked at the petite and cute Lingyu and sneered loudly. "Big guy, if I can't defeat you in 3 punches, it'll be my loss." The spirit fish's beautiful eyes were burning with fighting spirit as it said provocatively. As soon as Lingyu's words fell, it caused an uproar. Many pairs of surprised eyes looked at Lingyu, wondering where she got her confidence from. "Damn it, you're courting death." The arrogant Shou Bingtian was completely enraged by Lingyu's contempt. Dense killing intent exuded from his body as he roared and launched an attack at Lingyu. His terrifying fist blended with a powerful explosive force as he tried to crush Lingyu's petite body. Bang! Revenge of the President. The murderous Shou Bingtian threw a punch at Lingyu. Lingyu didn't flinch. She took a step forward and a terrifying force erupted from her petite body. She waved her small fist to meet the punch. The 2 fists, one big and one small, collided. Lingyu's fist immediately exploded with 20 million Jin of force. It shattered Shou Bingtian's fist radiance and surged into his arm. Gotcha! A crisp cracking sound was heard. Shou Bingtian couldn't withstand the 20 million Jin of force from Lingyu's fist. The bones in his arm were directly broken. The white bones pierced through his skin and were exposed to the air. Shou Bingtian cried out in pain. After breaking Shou Bingtian's arm with one punch, Lingyu followed up with another attack. His fist, which was filled with 20 million Jin of force, landed on Shou Bingtian's chest. Shou Bingtian's chest caved in and was blown away, leaving behind a cloud of blood in the air. Shou Bingtian fell out of the arena and lost the battle. Seeing its master being sent flying by Lingyu, Violent Bear immediately went berserk. It opened its bloody mouth and pounced on Lingyu. Boom! Another loud sound was heard. Lingyu's fist smashed Violent Bear's attack like breaking rotten wood. It landed on its huge body and sent it flying again. Oh my God, where did this little girl come from? Why is she so fierce? I don't know her. This is my first time seeing her. But since she's so hostile to Wanshou Mountain, she should be from the Western continent. Haha, let's see how arrogant Wanshou Mountain is. They're in trouble now. Witnessing Ling Yu sending Shou Bingtian and Violent Bear flying with 3 punches, the spectators were all shocked by her strength and started discussing. But the next moment, Ling Yu's words caused an uproar. "Mo Fengyun, I heard that you've broken through to level 4 Beast Emperor. Do you dare to come out and fight with me?" Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 665. 222784997. Go to Little? What? Did I hear wrongly? That little girl wants to challenge Sect Master Mo. Damn, this is too crazy. A little girl who is still wet behind the ears wants to challenge the number 1 person in the Western mainland. Am I dreaming? Go to Little. Hearing the spiritual fish's clamor, the arena that had just quieted down was instantly stirred up. Many pairs of surprised, angry, and confused eyes were directed at her. Many people were even guessing her origin. How dare you? Sect Master Mo is not someone you can challenge. The Sect Master of Dark Evil Grotto, Black Wind Evil King, glanced at Mo Fengyun, who was calmly drinking his wine. Rolling his eyes, he stood up abruptly and shouted, "What? You want to fight me on behalf of Mo Fengyun?" The mischievous spiritual fish put her hands on her hips and looked at the Black Wind Evil King fearlessly. "If you want to die, I will fulfill your wish." The Black Wind Evil King, who had just broken through to the half-step combat Beast Emperor realm, was completely enraged by the spiritual fish's arrogance. Now was the best time to surrender to Mo Fengyun, so he did not hesitate to attack. "Spiritual fish, end this quickly." Yi Chunfeng transmitted his voice and instructed. His deep eyes kept glancing at Mo Fengyun, Yu Xiu, Shou Liyun, and the others to prevent them from launching a sneak attack. As long as they did not attack, the spiritual fish's strength was enough to wipe out all the major forces in the Western mainland. White Bone Demonic Art. As soon as the battle began, the Black Wind Evil King unleashed his killer move. His powerful soul power and Tao will fused together and transformed into 10 white bone soldiers. They held ghost weapons in their hands and surrounded the spiritual fish. Ha! Besieged by the ghost soldiers, the spiritual fish let out a roar. Her petite body emitted a shocking oppressive aura. Dense water ripples appeared in the air and bombarded the white bone soldiers, making them unable to get close to her. 8 divine ape shadows. The spiritual fish unleashed a powerful force and repelled the white bone soldiers. Her body flashed slightly and turned into a flash of light and flew out. Star-picking fist. Flying out of the encirclement, the spiritual fish channeled all her strength into her right fist like a tidal wave. Then, she punched at the white bone soldiers who were charging at her with their ghost soldiers. A fist of light that seemed to be holding a star shot out. With unparalleled explosive power, it ruthlessly smashed towards the 10 skeleton soldiers, directly crushing them into pieces and disappearing into the world. What? When the Black Wind Evil King saw that the spiritual fish had broken the white bone demonic art in one move, he raised his eyebrows and revealed a look of horror. Male teacher of female student. Just as he continued to urge the white bone demon technique to attack, the spirit fish stepped on the 8 divine ape shadows and suddenly disappeared before his eyes. Not good. Sensing the danger behind him, the Black Wind Evil King was shocked. A white bone staff that was close to the level of a high-grade heaven artifact appeared in his hand, and he stabbed it behind him with irresistible force. Seeing that the white bone staff that was shining with a white light pierced the chest of the spiritual fish behind him, the spiritual fish revealed a smile. Her body flashed and disappeared before his eyes again. In the next moment, the Black Wind Evil King, who could not react in time, felt a small hand full of strength choking his neck. A force beyond his imagination broke into his body, causing him to lose control of his body temporarily. Boom! In an instant, the spiritual fish exploded with 20 million pounds of strength, choking the black-wind evil king's neck and forcefully pulling him up. With a beautiful shoulder throw, the black-wind evil king fell to the ground with a loud sound of vibration. When the black-wind evil king fell to the ground and struggled to get up, the spiritual fish jumped and directly rode on the black-wind evil king's body. Her small fist that was full of strength smashed onto the black-wind evil king's head, knocking him out. He lay on the ground like a dead dog, motionless. Who else? The spiritual fish kicked the black-wind evil king, who was bleeding from his head and had fainted, away. With her hands on her hips, she valiantly provoked him in a loud voice. Valiant, too valiant. Where did this little girl come from? She actually beat up the black-wind evil king so badly. I didn't expect someone to come and cause trouble during the Western Devil Sex promotion to an 8th grade Saint Land. I'm afraid something big is going to happen today. Witnessing the scene of the spiritual fish trampling the black-wind evil king, everyone present was stunned and started to guess her identity. Devil Sect Master, is that little girl your enemy? Yu Shiyu took a sip of the wine in his cup and looked at the cute and powerful spiritual fish as he slowly asked. Enemy? Emo Fengyun frowned slightly. He quickly searched his memory, but he could not recall the origin of the spiritual fish. Sect Master, let me teach her a lesson and force out her backer. Emo Qianli looked at the spiritual fish fiercely and transmitted a message to Emo Fengyun. Alright. Emo Fengyun's eyes flashed with killing intent. Kill her for me. Whoosh! An ear-piercing sound pierced through the air. Emo Qianli stepped into the air and left an afterimage in the air as he landed on the fighting ring. He looked at the spiritual fish fiercely and said in a gloomy voice, Little girl, you've got guts to come and cause trouble on my Western Devil Sex big day. If you don't want to die, tell me who sent you here. Otherwise, I'll make you regret being born in this world. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Cut the crap. As the spiritual fish spoke, she took a step forward and took the initiative to attack Emo Qianli with a strong oppressive aura. Different time and space, China rises again. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Emo Qianli shouted as the upper-grade heaven weapon, Illusory Saber, appeared in his hand. The saber cut through the air and slashed at the spiritual fish. 8 divine ape shadows. As the illusory saber radiance slashed down, the spiritual fish shook her body and instantly transformed into several afterimages. She dodged the attack and closed in on Emo Qianli. Roar. Then, a beastly roar that made Emo Qianli's soul tremble was released from the spiritual fish's petite body and bombarded Emo Qianli at close range. Due to his carelessness, Emo Qianli was hit by the roar released by the spiritual fish. His soul trembled and his reaction was delayed. Star-plucking fist. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, the spiritual fish compressed all the energy in her body to the extreme and blasted out a destructive star-plucking fist. It shattered the layers of air and bombarded Emo Qianli's chest. Crack! The middle-grade heaven weapon combat armor that Emo Qianli was wearing was shattered by the terrifying star-plucking fist. The crisp sound of bones breaking could be heard. Emo Qianli, who was a first-grade beast emperor, was sent flying by the spiritual fish's punch. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth as his body slammed heavily on the ground. Witnessing the scene of Emo Qianli being severely injured by the spiritual fish, everyone present was dumbfounded and had an incredulous expression on their faces. Even Emo Fengyun was no longer as calm as he was at the beginning. The muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched and his face darkened. Little girl, I'm going to kill you. Emo Qianli quickly consumed a heaven-class soul elixir and suppressed the injury on his chest. Like an enraged lion, he crawled up from the ground and transformed into his strongest beast soul form. He launched a thunderous attack at the spiritual fish, intending to kill her with all his might. Swish! Suddenly, an ear-piercing sound pierced through the air in the chaotic square. A sword light that was a mixture of 60 sword Dao patterns, death Dao patterns, and thunder Dao patterns tore through the air like a flying meteor and attacked Mo Qianli without any warning. Oh no! The appearance of this sword light was too sudden. Mo Qianli, who was in a rage, sensed the intense danger of death. However, it was too late to dodge. He could only defend with all his might. However, just as he raised his upper-grade heaven weapon, the Void Illusion Saber, the sword light pierced through the Void Illusion Saber like a hot knife through butter. In the next moment, Mo Qianli's eyes widened. Under his horrified gaze, this strange sword light pierced through his head and crushed his soul, killing him on the spot. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 666. Dead, Great Elder Mo Qianli is dead. Witnessing Mo Qianli's head exploding and his body falling into a pool of blood, the noisy square turned silent. Pairs of dazed eyes were fixed on Mo Qianli's body, making them feel like they were in a dream. Who is it? Come out. Mo Fengyun was furious. He had never expected that someone would come to disturb him on the day he broke through to level 4 combat Beast Emperor and announced his breakthrough to the world. Not only that, the person even killed Mo Qianli in front of everyone, which was a slap to his face. If he couldn't kill his enemy and avenge Mo Qianli, the reputation he had worked so hard to build would be greatly affected. He would become the laughing stock of the Duhan continent. You don't want to come out? Then I'll kill her. Let's see if you'll come out. Mo Fengyun's deep eyes were filled with murderous intent. The Tao of darkness and Tao of shadow merged together to form a giant shadow hand. It carried a suffocating power as it smashed the air and pressed down on the spiritual fish. Whoosh! As the giant shadow hand pressed down, the ear-piercing sound of the air being torn apart was heard again. The sword light that killed Mo Qianli appeared again, and tore the giant shadow hand apart at a speed that was hard to be seen by the naked eye. In the next moment, a blurry figure flashed in the air and appeared in the arena like a bolt of lightning, blocking in front of the spiritual fish. Mo Fengyun, you're really regressing. How could you disregard your status and attack a little girl? Don't you know what shame is? Yi Chunfeng stood with his hands behind his back and lectured in an overbearing manner. Who are you? Looking at Yi Chunfeng's illusory figure and sensing the strong sword intent emitted from his body, a familiar figure appeared in Mo Fengyun's mind. He frowned and asked in a cold voice, Mo Fengyun, have you forgotten about me so quickly? Yi Chunfeng sneered and reverted to his real voice. You are Yi Chunfeng. You didn't die. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's familiar voice, Mo Fengyun confirmed his identity and revealed a look of astonishment. He was astonished that not only had Yi Chunfeng survived the spatial rift, but he had also broken through to become a grade 6 reverse beast king. That's right, it's me. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng dispersed the illusory Tao insight and transformed into his true form with the spirit fish. Yi Chunfeng. It's really him. Seeing Yi Chunfeng reveal his true form, many people couldn't help but cry out in surprise. The three experts of the Yu family immediately looked at Mo Fengyun, who had a gloomy expression on his face. I'm rather curious as to who is so bold as to come to my Western Devil sect and cause trouble today. Mo Fengyun looked coldly at Yi Chunfeng and said eerily, I didn't manage to kill you the last time. Today, I'll definitely tear you into pieces. Ha ha, Mo Fengyun, things are different now. Since I dared to come here when you are breaking through to become a grade 4 combat beast emperor, I'm naturally not afraid of you. Yi Chunfeng laughed heartily and said boldly, It seems like you have obtained some opportunities in the vast heaven region. However, no matter how powerful you are, you can't leave here alive today. Mo Fengyun could no longer control the anger in his heart. With a roar, he summoned the sky demonic Dao soldier and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Spirit fish, come back. As Mo Fengyun attacked, Yi Qinfeng didn't hesitate to send the spirit fish into the heaven and earth mirror and faced him with the Emperor Sky Sword. Bam! When the two Dao soldiers clashed, more than 20 million pounds of force surged out from the Emperor Sky Sword and resisted the attack of the sky demonic Dao soldier. How did his strength increase by so much? After facing the attack head-on, Mo Fengyun's expression changed when he felt the explosive strength of Yi Qinfeng's attack. He couldn't believe that Yi Qinfeng's strength had surpassed his by so much. This Yi Qinfeng must be killed. Mo Fengyun gritted his teeth and released the power of the demon heart. It instantly entered his body and pushed his strength to increase. Beast soul form. After fusing with the power of the demon heart, Mo Fengyun immediately transformed into his strongest beast soul form. With the sky demonic Dao soldier in hand, he launched his strongest attack at Yi Qinfeng and was determined to kill him. Dragon's bloodline, ignite. Mo Fengyun attacked like a tidal wave. Without hesitation, Yi Qinfeng ignited his dragon's bloodline and transformed into his beast soul form, increasing his soul power by 4 times. Boom, boom, boom. There were deafening explosions as Yi Qinfeng and Mo Fengyun clashed in midair with frightening strength. The destructive force surged in midair and caused the White Cloud Plaza to tremble violently. Cracks started to spread rapidly. What terrifying fighting strength! That Yi Qinfeng is already able to release such powerful attacks when he is only a Class 6 Defiant Beast King. If he breaks through to the Combat Beast Emperor realm, he will be even more powerful. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng wasn't at a disadvantage in the battle with Mo Fengyun, the 3 top experts of the Yu family were deeply shocked. Second Elder, should we help Mo Fengyun get rid of that brat? Yu Qinyuan asked with a gloomy face. Let's wait for a while. It won't be too late for us to make a move when both sides are injured, Yu Shiyu said with flickering eyes. Tower Master, do you think Sect Master Mo can kill Yi Qinfeng? Shadow looked at Yi Qinfeng with a complicated gaze as he softly asked Gu Yu beside him. Yi Qinfeng isn't a fool. He must have something to rely on since he dares to appear when Sect Master Mo is breaking through to the Class 4 Combat Beast Emperor realm. The West Demon Sect is in trouble now. If they can't kill Yi Qinfeng, they will become the laughingstock of the Duhan continent even if they become a rank 8 Holy Land. Gu Yu looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was growing rapidly, and sighed softly. Myriad transformations Black Lotus. In the intense battle, the Tao of darkness in Mo Fengyun's body burst out and instantly formed a demonic black lotus that bloomed slowly. Chaotic energy break. The moment the myriad transformations black lotus was formed, Yi Qinfeng blasted out 8 streaks of chaotic energy. They penetrated the myriad transformations black lotus and bombarded Mo Fengyun. When Mo Fengyun controlled the Tao of darkness to block the chaotic energy, the myriad transformations black lotus that was penetrated by the chaotic energy exploded and engulfed him instantly. 7 swords of adjudication, following which, Yi Qinfeng wielded the Emperor Sky Sword and slashed out the last sword of the 7 swords of adjudication. It was like the Milky Way in the starry sky. It carried the adjudication will and tore the space apart and slashed towards Mo Fengyun. What a terrifying sword! Feeling the adjudication will and adjudication will of the adjudication sword, the spectators who were hiding in the distance trembled and found it difficult to breathe. The disciples of the West Demon Sect started to worry for Mo Fengyun. Once Mo Fengyun was defeated, the West Demon Sect would be doomed. 1. The moment the 7 swords of adjudication slashed apart the destructive storm, a terrifying sword radiance pierced through the sky and shattered the adjudication sword, blocking Yi Qinfeng's killing blow. This is Demon Saint Cold Knight's strongest move, Sky Demon Dance of all directions. Mo Fengyun has actually comprehended this move. Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and revealed a shocked expression. He was shocked that the demon heart actually hid the supreme grade Dao skill, Sky Demon Dance of all directions. He was even more shocked that Mo Fengyun had actually comprehended it. Yi Chunfeng, you are really surprising me more and more. In the face of such great strength, you still manage to injure me and force me to use my strongest move. Mo Fengyun, whose chest was injured by the primal chaos force, appeared in the air with his long black hair fluttering in the wind. He looked at Yi Chunfeng coldly and said, "However, this is my territory. No matter how capable you are, you can forget about leaving here alive." As he spoke, Mo Fengyun activated the defensive array that enveloped the West Demon Sect and sealed off Yi Chunfeng's escape route. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 667. Mo Fengyun, I didn't expect you to have comprehended Devil Sage Cold Knight's supreme grade Dao technique. It seems like your harvest in the Dragon Abyss is no less than mine. Yi Chunfeng didn't panic when the defensive array was activated. However, Mo Fengyun had comprehended Heavenly Demon Dance, which posed a fatal threat to him. Supreme grade Dao technique. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's words, Shou Liuyun and the others' eyes lit up. They were the three experts of the Yu family. Supreme grade Dao techniques could be said to be the most powerful inheritance in their knowledge. They had the power to destroy the heavens and earth and cut off rivers. Although the Yu family was a veteran 8th grade sacred ground and an overlord of the eastern continent, they didn't have any supreme grade Dao techniques in their family inheritance. If they could obtain a supreme grade Dao technique, the Yu family's overall strength would most likely surpass the East Sea Palace and become the strongest force in the eastern continent. They would even have the opportunity to develop into a 9th grade divine nation. Yi Chunfeng, you actually know the truth of this move. Mo Fengyun frowned slightly and said in surprise. Yi Chunfeng had publicly revealed the grade of Heavenly Demon Dance, which directly pushed him to the edge. Even if he killed Yi Chunfeng in the end, he wouldn't be able to escape from the Yu family's entanglement. Why? Are you surprised? Yi Chunfeng sneered and instantly ignited his fiend god bloodline, transforming into the strongest fiend god physique. Yes, a second transformation. Second Elder, what's the origin of that person? Yi Chunfeng's beast soul transformation as a 6th grade reverse beast king was already beyond Shou Liuyun's imagination. Now that he had completed a second transformation and transformed into the fiend god physique, everyone from the myriad beast mountain fell into a daze. It was as if they had seen a ghost. He seems to be a rogue cultivator. Yu Xiu felt a sense of absurdity when he thought of the words he got from Moon Raiment. It was because even in the Yu family, they were unable to find a young man as outstanding as Yi Chunfeng. Furthermore, the good fortune he had caused the Yu family to be envious. Rogue cultivator, Shou Liuyun and the others looked at each other and saw the shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. Die! When Yi Chunfeng transformed into his fiend god body, Mo Fengyun flashed and approached him as if he had teleported. He waved the heavenly fiend Dao weapon and slashed out layers of saber light that were stronger than the previous one. They were like surging waves that slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to waste his primal chaos energy because the three experts from the Yu family were eyeing him covetously. He quickly executed the mysterious underworld extreme technique. Several attack will gushed out of his body, turning into a dragon-like extreme mystic force. It twisted the space and crashed heavily into the layers of saber light. After devouring the Dao insight contained within the Dao wood and undergoing the baptism of the heavenly tribulation, Yi Chunfeng's comprehension of Dao insights had deepened, and the might of his dark underworld extreme Dao had become even greater. Boom! when the terrifying extreme mystic force blasted onto the overlapping devil sabers, there were boundless sparks. Numerous devil saber shadows couldn't withstand the attack of the extreme mystic force, and were shattered. However, Mo Fingyun's strength was much stronger than Yi Qianfeng's. The overlapping devil saber shadows that he slashed out eventually shattered the extreme mystic force and slashed towards Yi Qianfeng. 40 million pounds of strength break. Seeing that the overlapping saber lights might didn't diminish, Yi Qianfeng instantly increased his physical strength to the maximum. He stabbed forward with the Empyrean Heaven Sword and made use of the Empyrean Heaven Sword's powerful offensive strength and absolute strength to break Mo Fingyun's attack. At the next moment, Yi Qianfeng ignited his Golden Rock bloodline and increased his speed to the maximum. He took the initiative to attack Mo Fingyun. Sword radiance that was as fast as lightning pierced through the sky and continuously attacked Mo Fingyun's body with ear-piercing sounds. As Yi Qianfeng's attack speed was too fast, no one could see the attack trajectory clearly. They could only see the white radiance ripping the air apart and enveloping Mo Fingyun. Heavenly demon dance in all directions. Mo Fingyun didn't retreat when he was attacked by Yi Qianfeng's extreme saber light. He quickly integrated the power of the Devil's Heart and forcefully executed his strongest killer move. Sword radiance slashed in all directions and continuously shattered the saber light that was as fast as lightning. Unity of man and weapon. After his attack was broken, Yi Qianfeng did a somersault and transformed into the Sword of Judgment. He pierced through the sky and stabbed towards Mo Fingyun's chest. As the Sword of Judgment was too powerful, it took away the brilliance of heaven and earth. It was as though this divine sword that could judge life and death was the only thing left in the world. Bam! The two divine weapons once again slashed together. Boundless energy was like a blooming peony flower, blooming in midair. The terrifying recoil force crazily attacked the two of them, aggravating their injuries. Relying on his physical body that was comparable to a quasi-Dao treasure, Yi Qianfeng withstood the impact and increased his attack speed to the maximum again. He attacked Mo Fingyun continuously and wanted to use his absolute speed to suppress him. Fast, accurate, and ruthless Yi Qianfeng exerted his understanding of sword principle to the maximum. His sword qi was like a tide, continuous and endless. Mo Fingyun also exerted his saber principle will to the maximum. The ferocious saber light engulfed the tsunami-like sword shadow. For a moment, the whole void was filled with saber light and sword shadow, dazzling everyone. He's too strong. That Yi Qianfeng's strength is too terrifying. He's actually able to fight head-on with the Devil Sect's sect master without being at a disadvantage. Regardless of the outcome today, his name will spread throughout the Western continent. Yes, I have never seen such a monstrous figure. If he doesn't die today, even if the Western Devil Sect becomes an 8th-rank Holy Land, it will inevitably be destroyed. After witnessing the shocking battle between Yi Qianfeng and Mo Fingyun, the disciples of the major forces who came to congratulate the Western Devil Sect were deeply shocked. Many of them even showed a gloating expression. Second Elder, when are we going to strike? If we let Yi Qianfeng escape today, it will be difficult to kill him in the future. My Yu family might also suffer from his revenge. Yu Qinyuan did not expect Yi Qianfeng's strength to increase to such an extent in just a year. He asked with a serious tone. Since Yi Qianfeng dares to create trouble today, he must have something to rely on. Let's wait for a while more and strike when he is injured. We don't want to be injured by his trump card. The shrewd Yu Xiu transmitted a message to Yu Qianfeng. Rely on. Yu Qinyuan raised his eyebrows as he recalled that Yi Qianfeng's 2 level 8 heavenly beasts contract beast and sword puppet had yet to appear. 1. Yi Qianfeng and Mo Fingyun clashed intensely for thousands of rounds. Yi Qianfeng, whose attacks were completely suppressed by Mo Fingyun, continued to change his move. Numerous great Dao intents surged into the Empyrean celestial sword and swept up a dazzling sword shadow. It was like a huge roaring dragon as it slashed towards Mo Fengyun. 8 directions combine. As the dragon-like sword radiance approached, Mo Fengyun's body exploded with overwhelming demonic aura. The 8 ultimate sword radiances split into the sky demon Dao soldiers and instantly fused together to form a giant blade that could split the heavens and earth. After slashing through the dragon-like sword radiance, the remaining power continued to slash towards Yi Chunfeng. Not good. Mo Fengyun's attack was too fast. It was so fast that Yi Chunfeng had no time to dodge. He could only infuse 40 million points of strength into the Emperor Sky Sword and unleash a powerful attack to block the attack. Boom! There was a deafening explosion that reverberated throughout the heavens and earth. After taking on Mo Fengyun's strongest attack head-on, Yi Chunfeng felt an unimaginable amount of sword prowess entering his body. He lost control of his body for a short period of time and spat out a mouthful of blood in midair before falling to the ground. In the shocking battle with Mo Fengyun, Yi Chunfeng was injured. P.S. Monday Update 5 Mobile Reading Website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.